Last time on Square Roots, we visit an automotive showroom, catch a show in the planetarium, and pick up a snack from the corporate cafeteria. Later, we make a big difference in a little life when we adopt a cat. Although, with Red 13's combat abilities, sometimes I wonder who rescued who. Same thing with Aerith, really.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hello.
John the Sable Brandon.
Hello, I think you're a prime candidate for playing Fort Condor with me.
And Vanessa.
My favorite Sviet is John the Tank Top.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, one chunker at a time. And this is our final episode in our Final Fantasy VII Remake series.
Finally.
Yeah, we did it.
7 episodes for Final Fantasy VII.
That's right. Worked out perfectly.
Yeah,
I
appropriate.
feel like it's going to work out perfectly when this episode is 4 hours long.
I hope it's not that long.
I have to
Hope
work
for our
tonight.
listeners' sake, it's not that long. Yeah.
Listeners love long episodes. They're like, more content, same price. Give me it.
Well, we should go through the game just like Matthew and Jim do and be like, oh, okay, and then a cutscene starts skipped, and then we went to easy mode fight, and then...
I don't skip cutscenes on my first playthrough. Thank you.
Why do I get hassled for playing on easy, but you never hassle Vanessa for playing on easy?
It's
Because
because
you
I'm a
like?
girl.
She's
I
a girl,
have to.
yeah. Playing it like easy mode for us is like normal mode for girls.
Yeah. My manicured nails can't push the
I'm-
buttons very quickly.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with this bit.
Those-
just gonna put on a
the
jetpack
controllers
and-
aren't compatible with Vanessa's 3-inch acrylics.
That's my jetpack flying out of this conversation.
Oh man, you guys want to level up?
Yeah.
I have a good one this week. I have a good one.
Oh,
You do
well,
not.
let's hear
I
it.
do. This one deserves some background. So, we have a lot of running jokes on the show. We've got, Matt sleeping on a hot dog, Johnny boyfriends, Vanessa boyfriends, burger time. There's one that listeners probably aren't aware of unless, there was an editing snafu, which is Matt's giganto burps that he does into his microphone. Now, traditionally, Matt has just let him out directly into his live mic. He's been courteous enough, maybe over the past year, to turn his mic off when he does it now.
Well, it's once I got a mic that had a mute button on it.
Yeah. So last week when I was editing the episode, Matt had left one of his giganto burps in. Not only did he leave a giganto burp in, at the end of it, he said, "How about that?" It was a real power move. So what was really funny is in the context of the episode, nobody reacted to it, which made me laugh. So what I did was I should say my other favorite thing about Matt burping is Vanessa's reaction to it. She always cries into her microphone whenever she does it. She makes a sobbing sound. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, but less hammy.
Yeah. So what
Because
I decided
it's
to do
sincere when it is triggered.
so I cut out Matt's burp, moved it to its own file, and named it "Funny Vanessa Joke," and then told Vanessa that she told an amazing joke on the show, and that I made it into its own soundbite, and then I uploaded it to our shared Google Drive, and I told Vanessa she should listen to it, and she did, and she hated it. and it made my day.
It's a true story. I am furious. I remain furious. Jim keeps reminding me of it as if I've forgotten, but he does not realize that I haven't forgotten. I am using that old adage that revenge is a dish best served cold, and I am plotting on how to ruin his life, essentially. So far, I have a 3-step plan. I think I may need to incorporate a couple of contingencies, but it should happen. I don't want to give it a time frame because I don't want him to expect it, but never not expect it forever.
Look, if you need somebody to, play along, I'm here for you. Since I was roped into this joke, ultimately the joke was on me for being so gross.
No,
just want to offer up my services.
Oh,
joke
that's
was
really
on
kind.
Vanessa. Let's not forget Vanessa's the butt of the joke, okay?
You hear that, Vanessa?
That's
Jim
the
Let's not
important
forget. Yeah. Let's not forget who Jim's actions were meant to hurt.
Yeah.
It wasn't you. It wasn't the listener. It was the most innocent party of all, me.
Also, I just want to clarify, I don't sit around burping all day or anything. It's just that when we're sitting here recording, I drink heavily.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta let it out. I will say
All
that
carbonation.
when the inspiration for that prank landed in my brain, I got so excited. Like, I was vibrating in my chair so hard that I thought I might lift off of the floor. I was very excited, and I executed it perfectly. So that's how I leveled up. John, how about you?
Well, that's it. What
it.
about Chef?
Oh, yeah, I got a new puppy, too. His name is not Chef,
Chef,
even though
it's
Vanessa
Chef.
and Matt
Chef.
think it should be. It's not Chef. His name is Hank. If
He's not a cow dog, that name is unacceptable.
He was a farm dog. I got him from a farm.
Chef.
Hank the cow dog. That's my favorite cow dog.
He's half Great Pyrenees, half Anatolian Shepherd, which are both very big dog breeds. So he's going to be about 150 pounds when he's full grown. But
Anatolian Shepherd.
now he's just like a little teddy bear. He looks like a little teddy bear.
He
Little
does.
fuzzy dog.
I don't. I've been thinking a lot about animal naming conventions, and I don't think that having paid the adoption fee for this dog gives you more of a right to name it than Matt or I. And
Yeah, I
in
agree.
fact, I think that goes for all dogs. From now on, if somebody tells me what they think their dog's name is, I'm going to tell them what I think their dog's name is. And as far as I'm concerned, we have an equal right to name those animals.
Why?
Why not?
You don't.
I'd like to
you
second
don't
this
feed
motion.
the dog. You don't crate train it. You don't pet it.
Ew, don't crate train your dog, Jim.
Crate training is good for dogs.
It is good for dogs. You don't want them barking and barking and barking and being all distressed all the time.
Yeah, and it's nice when you leave, you can just say, "Hey, crate," and they go in their crate and take a nap. You don't have to
They're
worry
happy.
about
Because
it.
you've abused them so much that they have to go hide in a
No,
hole
they
to get
like
away
their
from you.
crate. It's where they sleep at night. It's where they feel
Yeah.
comfortable. They got a little nest. They like it.
Jack is crate trained, and he's a cat.
Yeah, crate training is cool.
And by crate training, I just mean that he likes to go in his carrier and go outside.
What else did I do? I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 16. I think I'm almost done with the game. I think I'm in maybe the last area.
It's not super long, right? What do you think? 30 hours? 40 hours?
Between 30 and 40, yeah. But I've been doing
I just mean
all
comparatively.
I've been doing all the side quests too. I haven't done any of the
120,
like,
Vanessa.
arena content, like the Hall of Virtue or whatever. I haven't done any of that, but I've done all the side quests and all the hunts and all the main quests so far. Trying to get that
well, you're
sweet
the furthest
ultimate
along,
sword.
So
Yeah.
no spoilers.
No spoilies. I will say I like it a lot. I find that all the powers have their own little, I don't know, uses. They're all different in really cool ways, and I really appreciate that. And I like seeing, because you can stagger enemies, and when you stagger them, you do like 1.4, 1.6x damage. I like seeing how high I can get my stagger damage. So far, I've hit 68,000
Wow.
HP when I've done my, because like I'll stagger an enemy and just cycle through all of my iconic powers as much as I can.
Yeah.
And I have ones that like freeze time and take forever, and while they're going, my other ones are powering up again. So some of them I can use twice in one stagger, and it just like makes my damage stack like crazy. It's fun. All right.
Can you
now,
raise the stagger percentage like you can in 7 Remake?
I don't know. I don't think so. I haven't been able to. Usually it's like I haven't been able. At least I haven't found a mechanism to control that yet. So
I'm
But
not
I do-
nearly as far into the game as you are, but I feel like we were kind of discussing this last night. I feel like it feels like maybe they looked at some of the things they did for 7 and were like, oh, we should have the main character be able to do these things, like have really snappy fun
yeah.
movement like Tifa, and have all these different elements like Yuffie. Like a lot of that stuff's really smart.
Yeah, there's tons of cool powers and cool. Every icon has like an iconic feat, whether it's like the Phoenix Shift or like a block or like some kind of spell. They're all really neat. So
Yeah, that Titan block, I used a bunch in the demo, and it's really great when you land that thing and it just.
oh yeah, and you can do a counter to it, which like has 3 huge punches if you do it just right. It's really fun. But yeah, I'm really into the game. The hunts are so fun. I don't know if you've opened those up yet, Matt. All the hunts and stuff, but
No, I haven't played it since this weekend because I've been too busy playing something else.
yeah, the hunts are fun. I'm really enjoying the game. I think I'll probably do it has a new game plus where like it's just got more enemies and encounters. I think so. I think I'm.
Yeah,
gonna
there's
do
a
that
hard
if I
mode,
can
right?
for that. I think there is a hard mode. Yeah, that unlocks. It's similar to 7 Remake, where once you finish the main story, there's a hard mode that unlocks. But yeah, I'm excited. It's definitely an adult Final Fantasy. There's generous side boob, and they say the F word a lot. There's lots of blood.
I mean, I thought in one scene we were going to get our first like full naked breast in a Final Fantasy game.
There's a scene that I just saw where I thought you were gonna see some hanging D. It's
That would be great.
very, very close to showing some D and some scrot.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I appreciated about Game of Thrones is that occasionally you would just get some D flopping around.
Yeah.
Like, a little bit for everybody. It's just all tits all the time. It feels too gendered.
I agree.
They
I
should
read
give
that there
Clive big
was a canonical gay relationship in it too for the first
Is
time.
there?
That's what I read.
That's why it's getting review bombed.
Oh, there is actually. It's weird. They only feature it like once, but it is there.
I heard that it sold 3 million copies in its first week, so I don't think they give a shit about your review bombs.
Yeah. I think I heard that it's selling like the velocity of it, like the rate at which it's selling is lower than 15, but I think it'll end up being caught up. I think people were kind of like, because 15 was like unfinished when it came out, so people are kind of hesitant, but the game is like, I've only experienced some frame drops once or twice in the whole game. I'd say it's very technically sound. It feels like a complete finished game. I didn't have to download a day 1 patch, I don't think, unless it downloaded.
Yes, there was.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there was.
But otherwise, like, it's good, man. It's a good game. John, how did you level up?
I have been watching Girls 5 Eva Season 2. It turns out it's on Netflix. Yay!
Yay!
We don't have that in the States anymore.
I found out that if you go through like the secret subscription options, you can get Netflix for less than $20 in Canada. You can find a 720p version for $8 a month with no ads, and that's
nice.
That's fine for me. I mean, okay, I'm watching on my TV, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that like if I was watching maybe like the new season of The Witcher, I would want it to look pretty slick. But for most stuff, who cares?
Yeah. So that's been it's been very fun. There's been some really good jokes. They were talking about plastic surgery, and one of the ladies is like, "Oh, you don't want to end up looking like Susan from Guess Who." And I had to Google what Susan from Guess Who looks like, and yeah, she's had a lot of work done. I like a good Guess Who joke. And
I can't guess who you're talking about.
the game Guess Who.
I do know it. I've noticed that Guess Who jokes come up a lot in British comedy, and maybe it's the same thing with Canadian comedy. I don't feel like Guess Who was such a thing in the
Girls
States.
Five Eva is an American
I remember
show.
I don't think it's like an iconic property like Monopoly or Life would be.
I feel like it's
disagree.
up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was younger, when I was like in elementary school, I had a really bad stutter, and I had to like have these sessions with a speech therapist, and we played Guess Who a lot.
Aw,
I played a lot of Guess Who.
well, that's awesome.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Who?
I think that doesn't
Mastermind
Guess
more
Who
than
have a
Guess Who.
different name in Europe?
Oh, yeah, it's probably like Guess Whodo.
Guess Whom?
I get the joke.
That was a good joke.
It
Go
was a
me.
good joke.
So the what I really like about that show, one, it's a lot like a pilot I wrote like 15 years ago, and it just makes me feel smart that I wrote something very similar to the show back then. And
Johnny,
two,
I don't know anything about Girls 5 Eva. Can you like...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can. It is. There was a girl group, like a Spice Girls like, that was very popular in the late 90s with one album. And they, were super famous. There's 5 of them. And then they had a bomb album that didn't do well and broke up. And now it's the year, 2021, and they decide that they want to reform and get another album out there due to some things that happen. However, they are now in their 40s. It does have, okay, I'm going to say this name wrong, Sarah Bareilles, who I know is a Matthew favorite.
I think it's Bareilles.
Yeah.
I think it's Barry Ellis.
Yeah, I think Matthew, you told me before, and I was like, I'm not going to pronounce it that way.
I do like her a lot. It's really, for me, I've not been like a long-term fan that listens to every album, but she had that one album, probably 20 years ago now, that I legitimately listened to on repeat. I loved it. The one with Love Song, which is a great song.
Mm-hmm. And it's got, hold on, I got to look her name up.
She's a member of the group? She's an actress on the show?
Yeah, she's the main character.
Oh, interesting. You know
Yeah.
what? Now I'm more interested in it. Not
It's
enough
got-
to subscribe to Netflix, though. So.
Some people that I think maybe Vanessa knows. Do you know Renee Elise Goldsberry from
Yes,
Hammytown?
I do.
She's very fun as Wiki. Do you know Paula Pell? I believe she's a Broadway actress.
That sounds familiar.
Matt
Oh,
knows
no,
her.
I'm thinking of Paula Poundstone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that one of them is basically a husky lesbian now. She used to be like she was a cute early 20-something back when they were in the girl group, and now she's a husky lesbian older woman, and she's a lot of fun. That's Paula Pell. She's really, really good in it. And Busy Phillips is so good as this like.
Oh, I love Busy Phillips.
Yeah, she's playing a Christian, like she's gone super deep into Christian, like super living a perfect Christian lifestyle kind of thing, which is really fun in the show. And one of them has gone missing. One of the 5.
Ooh.
They assume that she did die in a horrible infinity pool tragedy. I don't know why. That always makes me laugh.
It sort of makes it sound like they went over the edge of the infinity
Yes,
pool.
I think that is they're like, it was the leading cause of celebrity death in 2003. Anyway, so but they keep making implications that she's not actually dead and that she faked her own death. But who knows if that's true?
Now,
but
is this one of those shows that ran 2 seasons and then got canceled?
I think it's still going. It's on Peacock.
Peacock.
Oh, it's on Peacock. All right, now I've got Peacock. You should have said that. You said Netflix.
Well, Canada is different when it comes to streaming. We don't have Peacock, so
Peacock?
yeah.
Peacock? Sorry.
There's
I'll check that out, John. That sounds fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
by I'll check that out, I mean somewhere in between the next season of The Bear and Secret Invasion, and After Party Season 2 is coming out, and I really liked After Party, but I did unsubscribe from Apple, but maybe I'll resubscribe to Apple.
every episode has usually at least one kind of pastiche, either late 90s, early 2000s music video that is great. And it's a lot of fun, making fun of the girl and boy bands of the time. And it's just very silly. I really like it. And Tina Fey is a producer, but she's not a writer on the show. But it's got a lot of people from that group writing for it. Like Sam Means is, I think, the showrunner now. He was a writer on Kimmy Schmidt and 30 Rock and stuff, I think.
Have you noticed, does it sort of dip into that Feyist tendency to want to include some jabs and japes at liberal culture in
Not
the
at all.
spirit of both sidesism?
Because I think it didn't start as a Tina Fey show, I think it doesn't quite have that spirit of like, I'll take that, women.
30 Rock was way more funny before Donald Trump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my level up. Girls 5 Eva, watch it now on Peacock or Netflix or wherever it's on. Vanessa, how did you level up?
I also watched a television show. I think that this one was on Netflix. It's called People. It's a documentary in 4 parts, so it's really quick and easy to watch. It's about the mermaid subculture. These are people who either are or who aspire to be professional mermaids. What's a professional mermaid, you might ask? Professional mermaid is somebody who dresses up like a mermaid and goes into a tank or something similar and swims around, and people pay money to see it. It was pretty interesting. It was sort of a look at the subculture and followed a few people's journeys in particular. Hello.
I dated a girl who wanted to be a mermaid.
Whoa.
There is a mermaid thing like that at Wikiwachi.
Yes, that was
here
a
in
big
Florida.
part of the
It's about
documentary.
2 hours away from me. And I dated a girl who was totally obsessed with getting into that,
I was
getting a job being a mermaid.
I was wondering if you'd
But I
been
don't
to
know if she ever did.
Wikiwachi because it was featured
Not
so
since I was a
heavily.
kid. I never went to the water park where they do the mermaids because it's a water park, and then it's a spring river, and the water park's at the top. But you know, like I went and hung out at the spring river because it's amazing, and there's manatees and crystal clear water, and you can tube or kayak down the river, and it's fucking gorgeous. But I never did go to the water park where they have the mermaids. 'Cause why would you want to go to that when you have that beautiful spring river?
Maybe because you'd like to see ladies in scantily clad outfits with fishtails.
You can see that just on the river.
That's true. Except for the fishtail part. Maybe you saw a manatee. Some people say that manatees are the origin of the mermaid myth because sailors saw the manatees and they were like, "Oh, lady," because they were that horny.
That makes no sense at all.
Imagine you'd been on a ship for 3 months.
Was there a lady with hair down basically to her feet?
No.
All right,
There-
well then she didn't make it.
She's a back alley mermaid.
Interesting you should mention that, Jim. There are definitely like tiers of people working as mermaids. There was kind of like the elite mermaid people that everybody aspires to and wants to join, and they tend to do corporate gigs and Ren fairs. And then there were people who were essentially doing like children's birthday parties. So like they show up and are placed into the pool with the children and like meet and greet the children. And then they talked about a tail manufacturer as well who makes mermaid tails and aspires to be the greatest mermaid tail maker in the world. But I heard a
mermaids-
rumor.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I heard that this guy featured in the documentary allegedly, they say, might have contributed money to the documentary's production. because people thought it was odd that he was featured as a maker when other more prominent makers were not discussed. And also, he apparently does not make plus-size mermaid tails, which is a big thing in the community now, the push to accept people of all body types as mermaids, not just the wiki-watchy ideal. I also watched a video about the history of the Game of the Year awards, and it was such a flashback to like 2003 gaming culture when the awards were on Spike TV. Y'all remember that?
I do.
TV for Men.
I don't think I've ever watched the Game Awards once in my life.
Me either.
I don't know if I had, but I was definitely aware of the stuff because I was into games then in, the way that most women were in 2003, which is privately in my own room and never talking about it to anyone because who wants to open that door? But it was so gross. Like just the number of misogynistic jokes. Like they had Samuel L. Jackson was up on that stage showing a chart of the gamer brain that has a big lobe for awesome and the girlfriend brain that's taken up by lobes for nagging and killing fun and hating when you play video games.
We're gonna act like that wasn't a normal thing.
No, it
20
was
years
normal.
ago.
And that's
Yeah,
the
that was
thing.
years
in
ago, 40
like
years
that
ago,
was in
50
like
years
game
ago.
advertisements.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
Well, let's say not. I thought you were going to say like a normal thing for women to be nagging. Like what? No.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah. It's called emotional labor. Look it up.
Don't give birth
so-
to emotions, Vanessa.
That's true. And it hurts. And I don't get enough maternity leave.
I
Yeah,
gotta
so
raise these emotions. Ugh.
it was an interesting look back at that time, and it made me actually. I hate to say it after all the flack I've taken tonight, Jim's pranks and Matt nagging me about my emotions, and Johnny's been fine. But it made me appreciate you guys a lot. And being part of the Square Roots gaming community where I don't have to put on a bikini. Johnny
Already leveled up.
went. Jim
Already
went.
fuck's
Vanessa
sake.
This is like the fourth week in a row this has happened.
already went.
know what?
That's me. Let me think. Do I have anything else to say?
I don't even want to be around anymore.
Matt, it sounds like your brain is degenerated because of. I think you should leave.
Yeah, I've made Tim Robinson sketches my whole personality. Because I quote it sometimes.
Johnny gave me a investigation assignment, which I failed to bring to fruition. I won't say what this is about
I
because
just
I don't.
assumed that Vanessa either knew this or would be able to listen to a podcast in 20 seconds and figure it out. But she did actual investigation work.
I did actual investigation work, and I asked a question on Reddit, and boy, do I regret that because, I've learned that Reddit is a place that I enjoy observing, but I don't want to engage with, and not to attack anyone in particular on there, but I did get a mix of you're stupid for asking this question, and let's discuss this unrelated sexual kink as a response. And it just made me a little bit unhappy. So, Johnny, I was unable to produce your information, but I will say on the air, drum roll, the answer is almost certainly no. But I think you already know that.
Yeah. You didn't
can I
say
say
what the
something
question was.
I won't say what the question is. I don't want to call out anyone in particular in that community.
Okay.
One thing that's funny to me about Reddit is I subscribe to I like to read the relationship problems subreddit because people describe problems in their relationship and they're often pretty dramatic and interesting. But I like that the comment, no matter what someone is posting about, the first and most upvoted comment is always yeah, it's time to break up.
Yeah.
Every
You,
single
the comments in all of those. Am I the asshole? Relationship advice, all the rest of the like real life problems things. Like the comments are always a cesspool of morons.
cracks me up.
And I mean,
Like I think if you have the most upvoted comment in one of those threads, you should not be allowed to vote.
I did have the most upvoted comment in one of those threads once.
Was it Ask a Manager? That's not the same
Was
thing.
that the one
It
where
was not-
you commented as a witch who was going to eat a child?
Yes, because the question was like, "Am I the asshole for?" This guy was like on a hike with his son. Was his story, and then he's like, "And my son couldn't keep up with me and my friends, and I knew that my wife and my other kids were like half an hour behind us, so I just had my son wait for the women." And people were,
Yes.
taking him to tasks. And I commented that I was just happy to see, or I said that as a witch who lives in a candy house, I was happy to see that the tradition of leaving your kids in the woods is alive and well.
That's not the same. That's a genuinely funny joke and not genuine relationship advice from a psychopath. Reddit is garbage, and 99% of the users on there are trash. But there are smaller subs that are filled with fun people and good conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
Just like
Yeah,
anything
yeah, yeah.
else.
It's always really obvious when the relationship posts are like stealth kink things where somebody's really just trying to jack off. Like it's always like, oh, my boyfriend found my socks and was like sniffing them. Like, what should I do about this? They're just sniffing the socks all the time, and you can tell
Leave 'em,
somebody's
girl.
probably just got a huge boner the whole time they're typing
Yeah.
that.
And I am totally fine with sexy communities, but like go to a sexy community. Don't try to pull
Yeah.
other people into your weird fantasies.
Yeah.
Text is always difficult to interpret the tone of, I ask this question that I asked on Reddit mainly as a joke, but also because the information either was public and they would know it, or it wasn't, in which case I don't think it's my business. But some people were like, oh, you should like message this public person and ask him about it. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Like, no. If I want to know information about a celebrity, I don't want to bother the celebrity and be like, tell me about your life, because I deserve to know because I'm your fan and you have to tell me everything.
Never try to actually engage with celebrities.
No. And I realize now that because of the way the internet is, I should have phrased it like, is this publicly available information? And if it is, tell me the answer. And if it's not, I don't want anyone to consider pursuing it any further. And as a matter of fact, I don't care what the answer is. It was a favor for Johnny, who also doesn't care what the answer is.
Not really. I was just making a little joke before bed.
Yeah, and I thought it would be funny to like put it on the Reddit and then send you the answer from there, and it just turned into a disasterific time. This is a terrible story. Honestly, it shouldn't go on the podcast at all. I'm just talking to my friends at this point.
Yeah.
Matt, how did you level up?
Whoa, shit. Do I get to do that? Mm-hmm. I've had a really busy week with real life stuff. I'm super busy at work. But that's it. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy 16. I'm 5 seasons into MasterChef. And I'm kind of tired of it, actually. I'm burning out. I don't know. I might just skip ahead to the current season and see where that goes, and then move on to Next Level Chef or something. Because that's right, I'm still on the Gordon Ramsay train, despite all you losers falling off.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a Ramsay show in weeks.
Gordon
We're all about
Ramsay?
Ramsay.
That's over. That was a flash in the pan trend. Ramsay is out. We like mermaids now.
That's it. That's my level up. Level up's gone on too long already, and also I don't have anything. I didn't do anything this week. It's nothing. I've been working. I'm busy. Let's take a moment to be sad. I'll just take a moment to be depressed.
Yeah, I mean,
take a
if you
moment of
really want
silence.
to, yeah, there's plenty to be depressed about.
This Matt, if you're editing, this is where you need to cut in Mad World. Say, let's all just take a moment to be sad, and then Mad World fades in.
I can't do that. We're on Spotify. We're not allowed to use other music.
It's true.
Yeah, Vanessa, sing it for us.
Yeah.
All around me are familiar faces. What a faces, what a places. And I kind of funny. Johnny, if you could jump in with the ha, 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 ha. Just do that on a loop. That would be really helpful. And I find it kind of funny. I find it kind of sad when people
Trying to
run
orgasm?
in circles. It's a very, very mad world.
I want to isolate John's track there and make it my ringtone. It was funny the other day. Amanda and I were about to leave my apartment, and I couldn't find my phone. So I told my Google to find my phone because it'll ring my phone if I tell it to. And my ringer was on, and it was then I told it to ring it at the loudest. And my ringtone is, remember when we did I Do Cast? My ringtone is the from the beginning of Family Matters. She's like, what was that?
You're like, phone.
John, you got
stuff.
a game for us, buddy?
I do. Are you all
Let's
ready?
play it.
For Johnny's Overrated Game Volume 6.
Yeah.
Double time.
What's a volume 6? This is episode 7.
Yeah,
You
because
missed
we
a week.
missed an episode.
Oh no, I have to do a game next week? Ugh.
Oh, yeah, you got to do a game for the next few months, buddy.
Yeah. Better prepare 8 of these.
It's time to end this game thing.
So, this time it's a double points round because it's the finale, everybody.
Whoa, what? Hey.
Double points. Woohoo.
This could
That's what I
only
said, Vanessa.
disadvantage
Gonna
me.
lose by even more.
Yeah. All right. So right now the score is Vanessa 12,
Yeah.
Jim 7, Matthew 11.
Oh, so close on my tail.
The rules of this game are I'm going to read
Your
a
mermaid
post about a game being overrated. I will remove the name of main playable characters and villains, and sometimes publishers if it's very obvious. And I will also so you can buzz in by saying buzz, and if you get it wrong, then everyone gets a chance to steal, and then we just keep going. You don't get knocked out for the round or anything, because it takes a few guesses. That's how this game works. You all ready?
Yes.
Ready.
So, double time. Let's go. Game number 1. Pump up the jam. Pump it up. I'm just putting some music in there, just, to be exciting. Game number 1. I mostly dislike this game, though there are things I like about it. I'll start with positive first.
Buzz.
Matthew.
Final Fantasy 6.
Incorrect.
Damn, worth a shot.
Thank goodness.
Things I liked. Vivi's. Oh no, I
Buzz.
said it.
Buzz. Yeah, I said it first. Final
I
Fantasy
said it
9.
first. I said it first.
No, Vanessa did.
Vanessa buzzed in
not.
first.
She did not.
I did.
You know what? I botched my game. I botched my game again.
Yeah.
You bungled it.
I bungled it. All right, Vanessa gets 2 points. You still against these points,
She
Vanessa?
didn't even say the name of the
I didn't
game.
even say the name of the game,
Oh,
and
you
I got
didn't
the
say.
points. That's
Oh.
how much you bungled
So what
it.
game is it? What game is it?
I'm
I
gonna go
already
with
said it.
Final
We should all get
Fantasy,
points for that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to give
9.
everyone points for that because it sucks.
What?
And I'm going to replace
Again?
it
This game is
with a
rigged against
different-
me.
with a different game.
Yeah, when Johnny messed up
because-
last time, did we all get points? No. It's only when the points go to Vanessa that everyone gets
He didn't
points.
say He didn't say the name of the most famous character in the game.
It's true. It's true. You know what? I feel bad that I did that. So I'm just
Also,
going to
I
give
buzzed in first.
everyone
Definitely not.
2 points now. And we're going to restart game number 1 because I fucked up so bad.
Just give us all 0 points. It's the same
Yeah,
thing
why
as
would you not
giving
just
us
give
all
us all
2
0
points.
Yeah,
points?
that's
the
true.
difference.
It's giving us all points and giving us 0 points is the same thing, pretty much.
I know,
Yeah.
and I love it. Okay, game number 1. This game was my first PS2 game, and when I played through it after it released, I was completely blown away and completely sucked in the story, or so I thought. I think what I was more blown away by was the visuals and music. The graphics were absolutely insane for its day. I remember oohing and awing at each cutscene and each area.
Buzz.
That was Matthew.
Final Fantasy X.
You are correct.
I was gonna say that too.
What were you gonna say, Vanessa?
Probably that. You'll never know.
As soon as you said PS2, I was like, that's probably Final Fantasy X.
Yeah. All right, game number 2. Okay.
I'm sorry. Can you tell us what the standings are?
Okay, now it is
No, don't do it.
Vanessa with
This is
14,
an outrage.
Jim with 9, and Matthew with 15.
Ugh, I'm gonna be sick.
All right, game number 2. Now, I want to say I started with this game first and foremost. This game wasn't great, in my opinion. I noticed a lot of fans overhype it, saying it's the best in the whole series. To me, it's pretty mediocre and good at the most if I'm being considerate. For one thing, the localization is bad. They actually changed this character's social link along with adding new
Buzz.
lines for... Oh, yeah. Jim?
Persona 4.
Yeah!
Good
All
job,
right.
Jim.
Good job, Jim. All right, game number 3. This game. It's a mediocre game with barely any RPG elements to go by, actually requiring mods if you want to enhance your experience and have cool-looking
Buzz.
armor. Matthew.
Skyrim.
Correct.
Wow.
All right, now the rankings are Vanessa 14, Jim 11, Matthew 17.
Ooh.
It's pretty close. Okay, game number 4. This game was the one game I never got around to playing, and another game in the series. I never played them because they were exclusive to PS3 and Xbox, and I had a GameCube. I went back and played many others via emulators and future releases. I was always told that this game was the god tier game of this series, even better than another game of this series, which I hold in very high regard as one of the best games of all time. But after finishing the game, I'm just underwhelmed, I guess. I posted here a few months ago when I first started, about 10 hours in, asking about if the story ever gets good. I always felt you're always chasing this one character forever.
Buzz.
Matthew.
I'm taking a shot.
Yeah.
Tales of Vesperia.
Correct.
Wow.
Wow. Matt.
I can't even be mad at Matt anymore. He's doing a great job.
He is. Yeah, he's nailing these.
All right.
Matt just syncs with that like game fact thread writer.
Yeah,
mentality.
yeah,
He
it's-
just gets it.
Real
Is it, aren't
dirtbag
these Reddit
vibe.
threads? Yeah, I got a real dirtbag vibe.
It's a mix.
Did Matt probably wrote some of these?
Yeah.
All right. Last game. Are you all ready?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this series. The original version of this game was my first in this series. I'm definitely...
Buzz.
Matthew.
Final Fantasy VI.
Incorrect.
Damn.
Vanessa.
Final Fantasy VII.
Incorrect.
Ugh.
Continue.
I'm definitely more of a fan of the sci-fi games from this series, and this one isn't helping me to appreciate the fantasy-themed ones. I finished this game last night. It has to be one of the least enjoyable games I've ever played. One of the things
Buzz.
Matthew?
Is it Baldur's Gate?
It is not.
Okay. Any
What?
steals?
Yeah, Steel.
Okay, Vanessa?
Final Fantasy VIII.
Incorrect.
Buzz.
Jim?
It's a steal.
Final
Jim, you
Fantasy.
steal.
Steal. Final Fantasy 12.
Oh, actually, that is correct. Yay! That makes the final standings Vanessa 14,
Yeah.
Jim 13,
Oh.
Matthew 19.
Wow.
I'm the best and I did it, gang. Everybody knows that I'm the man. Everybody wants to party with me. Everybody wants
Except
to love
for the bonus. There's a bonus. Let's just
And
do
this is worth 25 points.
Yeah.
no. That would
quit.
be the golden snitch kind of scoring, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
So I am going to do this bonus. The reasons are countless.
Is there anything fucking stupider than the golden snitch?
Is that a Harry Potter thing?
Yeah.
Can you imagine having that in an actual game? Like if you had a football game going on, but there was also some people playing rock, paper, scissors on the side, and the person that wins scores 100 points for their team. Mm-hmm. J.K. Rowling sucks.
The reasons are countless, but I'll attempt to sum them up all here so you get the general picture on the reasons behind the hatred many of this game and this game series fans have for her. 1. This character steals materia.
Buzz.
Nobody's
Buzz.
Jim.
Yuffie.
Yes, you are correct. It's Yuffie.
That was a great bonus round.
I believe that puts Vanessa in 3rd place.
Oh yeah.
You're right. Yep.
Whoa.
Yep. Whoa.
What a turn.
Wow.
Well, I mean, we can
Wow.
all agree that a great injustice
won
was
and is the
done
best.
when Johnny denied me my buzz in.
You did.
Everyone points.
You did.
You would still lose. I would
Vanessa,
still be in 1st
I am
place.
just
I would be in
dunking.
second place.
I'm just dunking all over you this entire week. My sweet my sweet
I know,
soundbite
it's
prank.
true.
I
Wow.
flipped the standings today. I am just
It's
dunking
Vanessa
on
dunking
you.
corner. I don't like that.
Yeah, well, you know what, Johnny? It's a corner that you helped build.
No.
Jim put up one wall, you put up another wall, and Matt put up the floor.
Is it like Mercury in retrograde or something? Maybe that's what's going on. That's what happens when Mercury's in retrograde. Is Vanessa
Yeah,
gets dunked
when
on.
Mercury is in retrograde. Vanessa becomes the whipping boy of the podcast.
Hey, you guys ready to talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake?
I sure
Ready
am.
to talk about how fucking amazing it is that I won that game.
You did
Weird
win.
vibe.
One
this
whole
season.
episode
Or
back.
this
Your
episode.
prize is you get to do the next game.
Yay.
Oh, no.
Matt,
Matt's
master of
stupid game.
Master
Mog.
of ceremonies.
No, MSG, sorry.
Yeah.
All right,
MSG.
let's talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade because
Yeah.
we didn't finish the game last week like we said we were going to, and we have to
was-
cover the whole end of the game, and then we have to cover the whole goddamn DLC,
Well,
which was
hold
so long. It took me 4 whole hours.
It legit took me 7, Matthew.
Okay, put a game on easy,
wait.
John. Who
No.
are you trying to impress?
I died like once. Maybe twice. I mean, it
Should
wasn't
we
that
talk
big of a
about
deal.
the DLC first? Because it kind of takes place.
What are you talking
further
about?
back.
No.
It takes place further back in the timeline.
No. Let's just finish this up.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Chapter
All right, so
17,
So we
just
left
one
off
paragraph.
last week. We left off last week. We defeated Rufus, and we're escaping Shinra headquarters. But we got to do a boss fight in the lobby first. It is the Arsenal.
And this
This
is
was, to me, the first time I played the game, this was the worst boss in the game. It was much better this time around on
Yeah,
easy mode.
I feel the same way.
I didn't have as hard a time this time as I did the first time. I don't know if I was just doing it more correctly. It's still hard. It has a gun that's a weak point, but it's kind of annoying to target it because you're just playing as Barrett and was it Tifa?
Aerith.
Barrett and Aerith, that's right.
Also, Jim's notes say that Red 13's there. He's not.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's
No,
just helping
he's
out,
not.
isn't
No,
he?
he's not here.
Pretty sure he's just helping out.
This is only Barrett and Aerith. Vanessa, back me up.
Red 13 is there.
So what were you going to say,
You're all on.
Vanessa, before we stomped all over you?
Before you stomped all over me,
We? Who's we? You got a mouse in your pocket?
I do?
oh, there it is. It's pretty tiny. It's kind of biting.
It's
Johnny.
Mr.
Putting it in
Squeaks.
his mouth. He's biting its head.
Ew.
Oh my God,
Oh,
Johnny, you just
oh.
killed that animal.
Mr. Squeaks is dead.
Right before this boss fight was my favorite part of this game. It's when Shinra surrounds Aerith, Red 13, and Barrett, and they shout, "Who are you?" And Barrett, Aerith, and Red 13 respond in turn, "Avalanche, local florist, rat dog."
Lab rat dog.
Lab rat dog. You don't get to use Red 13 in this, but he's such a delightful character. I'm so glad that they brought him in here at the end.
And this is a big moment of character growth for him because, of course, he had denied being a lab rat dog when Cloud called him that earlier.
Yeah, and I think it isn't in the original, you don't get Red 13 in your party until, like, he doesn't become a party member until after you go to Cosmo Canyon the first time, right? Or is it
I
before
don't recall.
No, he becomes a party member as soon as you escape from
Oh,
the
as soon as you
cell
leave Midgar?
as soon as you escape from the
Aerith
cell
cell?
in
Shinra headquarters? Yeah, okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So, this is where Wedge trips on a hamburger he was eating and then farts and then
Yep.
falls out a window.
mean, kind of, though. It's pretty awful. Wedge is, like, in the Shinra building for unclear reasons, I would say.
They'd already shown him there earlier. He was hanging out with Reeve Twesty.
No, he was hanging out with the mayor.
Yeah.
Delano.
I thought it was on the screen in the Mayor's that you saw him.
Nobody gets to hang out with Reeve Twesty except me.
All right.
So he's in the Shinra building, and then he falls down,
He gets,
essentially.
like, sucked out a window, doesn't he? Or pushed out a
Yeah,
window.
he was going to help. He was like coming to help, and then the Whispers catch up with him and just push him out a window. And I thought it was
Yeah,
real
they
spooky and
defenestrate
scary.
him.
But we talked
Raise
about
your
it
hand if
last
you
time because I
think
thought it
that
happened
he's actually
last
dead.
chunker.
No, he's not actually dead. We actually talked about this last chunker.
Yeah.
We talked about how he falls down and then bounces back up again.
That's right. Let's phrase that correctly. We talked about how you all made a bunch of fat jokes.
Well, what we talked about is
but
that
it's
I
true.
really liked the scene. I thought it was spooky and interesting. And then Vanessa and Matthew and Jim said they didn't like it. And I said, oh, you'd like it better if he was tripped on a hamburger.
Yeah, you're like, if he tripped on a hamburger,
Yes.
his pants fell down.
I
Yeah.
was invited to make fat jokes by
A
John.
hamburger. He tripped on a banana peel. Like, let's go classic.
No,
here.
it's
We're
gotta-
classy.
it's
This is a
gotta be-
People
classy
don't eat
show.
fruit, Jim.
It's gotta
Yeah.
be.
He trips on a
food that
melted
he
candy
was
bar.
eating. Like he's dropping food out of his pockets and
Yeah.
trips on it.
He slips on a piece of Midgar special. And his pants fall down.
Yeah, exactly. And so they then reach the bottom of the building and find themselves surrounded by Shinra security, where they are arrested. Game over.
They were given the electric chair.
They were found guilty of terrorism. Wait, Jim, what actually happens? Why aren't they arrested and found guilty of terrorism?
Because you defeat the Shinra forces. Like, you fight that Arsenal thing, which is a big tanky boss. Can we talk about that? This thing
I
is
hated
so
it.
hard to damage. It takes forever.
You have to like focus on the little drone above its head, but as John said, it's really hard to target. And then you have to hide behind pillars and stuff because the boss's big attack is
you know
so
why
powerful.
I had
It's
such a
fucking
hard time
obnoxious.
with this the first time is I think I had Big Bertha equipped the first time I tried this fight,
So you
which
couldn't
is
do
one
any
of
long
the
range?
or not Big Bertha, yeah, one of those melee
The,
ones
like, cannonball or
yeah.
But you can switch to Aerith, and Aerith does long range because
Yeah.
I equip Barrett with melee, but you don't have to use him. You can switch to Aerith, and she can use her long range magic to damage the thing.
Right, but his is better at staggering and stuff than hers. Although hers is pretty good, especially when she uses Tempest. Anyway, so when you're surrounded by Shinra security in the ground floor, who arrives on what conveyance is what I was getting at, Jim.
Oh, it's Cloud on his sweet motorcycle.
Yeah!
So
Vanessa made fun
stupid.
of me for enjoying this. She's like, only an idiot would find this cool. I genuinely think this scene is pretty good.
I think it's
so
cool.
Dumb. No.
I remember when I first saw the fight scene on the motorcycle that's in Advent Children. I saw a YouTube clip when I was in college, and it blew my fucking mind. So whenever I see Cloud get on a motorcycle and he's rendered like that, I'm like, oh yeah, give me that.
Vanessa's comment
garbage.
in
I want
the
that
group
hot
chat
action.
was they
Such
think Cloud is the
trash.
coolest person of all time. They want you to think that too.
It's like, wow, 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 guitar. Here comes Cloud. And also what he's doing makes no sense. It's like the scene in Grease 2 when he is like being chased by a crowd of people and he chases them off by just sort of vaguely scooting his motorcycle in their direction. It's like Cloud jumps in and he just drives his motorcycle in front of people and they're like, oh my
makes
God. And they
He
fall
hits
over.
one of them in the face with his tire in slow motion.
Oh yeah.
And he revs it so the tire like tears the guy's face off.
Oh,
But
my
not
face! You
that,
just see like his skeleton
because-
chin,
Yeah, it's like
and
in
his teeth,
it's like in Pet Cemetery 2, where that kid's scarf gets sucked into the dirt bike.
oh, I've never seen that movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
spoilers
you've never
for
seen
Pet, Cemetery 2.
Oh man.
I've never
Oh
seen Pet
man,
Cemetery.
that makes me want to level up again. Did you guys watch that trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Friday to Freddy's.
No, I resent
looks-
Five
it
Nights at
actually
Freddy's
looks-
because it's
Why?
popular with people who are younger than I am.
Ooh, yeah.
It actually looks pretty good.
It does.
Also,
look pretty good.
releasing in theaters and on Peacock on the same day.
Oh.
Really excited to. I talked to my kids. Don't like horror movies generally, but my son is. He loves Five Nights at Freddy's. He's into this movie. I think it's PG-13, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, when your big market is kids, you gotta at least PG-13.
Yeah.
You
And
can't
it's
put an
a
R-rated movie.
and it's a Blumhouse film, so I like they put out some pretty good horror movies. They
Look,
do
it's a good
all Jordan
concept.
Peele stuff.
It's a good concept.
Yeah.
It's not the best, and I've played that game. I don't think it's very good, but like as a concept, particularly a concept for kids, I think it's fantastic. And there's nothing wrong with kids horror. Like there's lots of kids horror
totally.
properties. You know, I just recently rewatched one of my favorite movies of all time. Coraline is a kids horror movie.
I'm excited for that new Haunted Mansion movie that Disney's putting out, and it looks great. Danny
No,
DeVito.
we've been so burned by Haunted Mansion movies before, though, Jim.
This one looks good.
What are
Have you
talking
have you
about?
have you
Get out of your mind?
have you seen the trailers for it? Looks good. Looks
Tell us
good.
how much you like all the Marvel movies, Jim. You fucking Disney hack.
I don't like the Marvel movies.
You love the Marvel movies, you fucking liar. We went and saw Spider-Man together. It was the most important day of our lives.
I like Spider-Man. I've gone on the record saying I'm a Spidey boy.
Yeah, he considers Spider-Man to be a Sony movie, though, not a Marvel movie.
Yeah, this
I
Sony
love
Spider-Man
Sony.
movies are so good. Anyway, Cloud murders some men with his motorcycle, and then Tifa and the gang get in a pickup truck.
I love this little pickup truck. It's like it looks like something you could just run into and tip over.
Yeah, I also thought it was cute,
How with
and
Barrett in the back.
I liked it.
So it's Tifa and Aerith in the front. Is Tifa driving? I bet Tifa's driving.
Tifa's driving.
And Barrett and Red 13 in the back, and Barrett, of course, is making the whole thing drop
Yeah.
an inch away from the ground. He's so heavy.
This part was stupid. This is the longest motorcycle sequence you could ever imagine. Because not only is there this part where you have to defend the pickup, there's also a fucking boss fight on the motorcycle.
Yeah,
Full on boss fight.
it goes on
It's legitimately,
forever.
it's terrible. Like you are ready for this game to end, right? And it just continues to drag along. You go from the Rufus fight to which is Rufus is terrible. You go from the Rufus fight to the terrible boss fight with Barrett and Aerith. Sorry, I'm getting hiccups. To the terrible boss fight with Barrett and Aerith, to the overly long, terrible motorcycle sequence with the terrible motorcycle boss, which isn't hard or strategic. You just like have to do it, and it's tanky, it's got a ton of health, and it takes forever.
Yeah, this was the only part of the game where I died, was this terrible motorcycle boss. And it's doing the thing that I most hate in games. introducing a essentially new mechanic at the very end of the game that negates any kind of leveling that you've done.
What mechanic is that?
The motorcycling.
Motorcycling.
But we've already done that in the game.
I know, that's why I said essentially a new mechanic,
But it's
you
not
know,
leveled a bit
So
better.
not a new mechanic in any way, shape, or form, because we've done it before. So not essentially a new mechanic.
all right, let's say a mechanic that does not reflect the primary combat style of this game.
You could just say the gameplay style changes at the end.
Yeah. It was
But yeah,
dumb.
it is annoying. And when I first played this on my first playthrough, I didn't know how to do the long range attack. So every time it would drive up to the front and you couldn't hit it, I would just have to sit there and wait for it to come back. So this boss fight took me a long time on my first playthrough.
Didn't you
At
say
least
that
on
you
easy mode, in between fights, because there were multiple fights and then like just short driving spots, Red 13 would fully heal me, which was pretty nice.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Vanessa?
didn't you say that you can skip the motorcycle segment entirely in the New Game Plus?
You can, yeah. That's one of the benefits of New Game Plus is you can skip this auto scroll motorcycle fight.
I actually finished it first time this time. I have died. I remember the first time I played this, I died several times.
Yeah, I mean, it's not actually hard once you realize the pattern, but I was very irritated. The dialogue from, like, the truck kept seeming as if it was giving me boosts or heals, but it didn't. It did in between, like, waves of enemies, but not during the actual boss fight. But the characters kept saying, like, this should help, or take this, and nothing would happen. Just heal me! Heal me!
All right, so
It's terrible.
so we do the motorcycle fight, we fight this boss, and then we're at like the end of the highway. And if you guys remember from the original, this is where
Doesn't seem like the end of the highway, actually. When you get off your bike,
Well, no, it
does
doesn't.
seem like the highway continues to go on.
in the original, this is the end of the highway. Because in the original, the highway ends, you stop, then you fight the boss, and then you get a little cutscene. In the original, the cutscene here is where Cloud's like, I have to go find Sephiroth. And this is where you get the, we're about to go on a journey speech. And in this one, they stop on the highway, and Sephiroth is like, hey, let's party. And he puts a little portal there.
I hate this. And I want to say, they spend a solid 20 minutes just fucking word salading at the camera. Like, it's just nothing. Nobody has anything to say, but they all have dialogue. You know? It's obnoxious. It's terrible.
So there's this portal, and Era tells you, she's like, I don't know what's on the other side of this portal. Like, she seems to have some knowledge of what's going on, but she's like, if we go through here, I don't know what's going to happen. And then she theorizes that, like, the whispers are like the spirits of people who have gone to the live stream, trying to make sure things stay on track. And that Sephiroth is trying to, like, destroy everything, and that he's wrong and he doesn't belong here. And she wants to do something about that. She asks you to help her by going through the portal.
We determined in the Facebook group that Aerith is Kitty Pryde in Days of Future Past.
I agree with that theory. My theory is that both she and Sephiroth, because they died in the original timeline, have been to the live stream, and they were able to kind of reincarnate themselves in this timeline. And Aerith did so because Sephiroth kind of invaded this timeline when he wasn't supposed to, and Aerith is trying to foil him.
I
So-
think she's Genova. Because
I
who
hate that
benefits
theory.
from changing the past? Not
Sephiroth.
Yeah, and Genova. And Aerith, too, is trying to change the past. She's not around trying to, like, make sure things stay on the right track. She's like, let's go through this portal and claim our own destiny and change the future and make it whatever
Well-
we want it to be.
Wouldn't you want to do that too if you died by getting a sword through your tummy in the original timeline?
I don't know. She always seemed okay with it in the original timeline.
She definitely didn't seem sad about it.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, she had her spine severed. I don't know what she was feeling or thinking.
She had a very peaceful expression on her polygon face.
It's true. So you go through the portal and there's like this big whisper. I thought this for sure. This was the end boss.
This
is the first boss from the first Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a total
thingy.
Kingdom Hearts, which feeds into my actual theory about this game, which is that this is a stealth Kingdom Hearts game, and I believe that when Sephiroth raises his blade to stab Aerith, when we finally get to that point, we're going to hear a clang and something will block his blade from hitting Aerith. We'll see like two big dumb knobs, and then the camera will slowly start to pan out and we'll realize they're the knobs at the end of a keyblade. And it will pan, pan. And then you see Sora there.
And it turns out that Ansem is Sephiroth's dad.
I will say that this game, and especially with the intermission, does feel a lot like playing Kingdom Hearts 3, especially intermission, because it's like, who are they? Oh, they're from a game I didn't play.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about it that way, but that's damn.
But this
makes sense.
It feels. I mean, it's Nomura, and I don't think what's his face? Not Kojima. I can't remember the name of the writer. They both have Kingdom Hearts pedigrees, right? And especially Nomura, and it does feel very Kingdom Heartsy, and also the way that the new characters are just a guy, which is a real Nomura thing.
Nojima, is that who you're thinking of?
Nojima, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that. But first, we have to get through this. Kingdom Hearts battle.
Yeah, so I don't I don't know if you guys picked up on this. So the bosses that you have to fight here, there's a little boss rush, but you have to fight like 3 really big whispers, and their names, did you guys see their names?
Yeah.
Whisper
Ventus,
Rubrum, Whisper Crocy, Whisper something else. These just mean colors. Like Whisper Rubrum is means the red one or something like that in Latin. But did you guys notice anything about their fighting styles?
I thought this was like a Chrono Trigger thing where it was them all from the original timeline trying to fight to stay alive. So Cloud from original timeline, you had Sword Man, you had Gun Man from the original timeline, which is Barrett, and then you had Fists Man from the original timeline, which is Tifa. So that makes me think,
that's correct.
Oh, this is Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett trying not to have their timelines obliviated.
Ooh,
Can I totally
cool.
Can I totally blow your mind right now, John?
Sure.
Those fighting styles are also the fighting styles of the 3 villains from Advent Children. Yazoo and Lowe's and the other guy.
I don't. They occupy no space in my brain.
Me either. I didn't pick up on that until I saw it in these notes.
It's generic. It's like, you've got Sword Boy, Gun Boy, and Fist Boy.
Well, can
I don't see the connection.
Totally blow your mind?
Sure.
They're also the same fighting styles as Sora, Donald, and Goofy.
It's not, though.
Well, Guns is magic, and
Shield
is fist because you bash it, and sword is sword.
You're right.
I would love for them to tie this into Kingdom Hearts because I think it sucks. So why not tie it into something else that sucks?
I was really mad at the idea when Vanessa proposed it last night. I went to bed all pissed off about it. But now that we're talking about it,
it's a weird thing to be pissed off about.
Now that we're talking about it, I kind of feel like I'm into it.
This is my revenge campaign.
I think I said last night when Vanessa mentioned it, I said if that happened, my soul would die.
Yep, I told you I was going to get revenge for the prank that you played on me. My revenge is to get this idea out there, get it into the stratosphere. They haven't made the segment of the game where Earth dies yet. When they go to do that, there is still time to make Sora appear and have it be a Stealth Kingdom Hearts game.
It would be cool if one of Barrett's weapons was he got a lamp attached to his arm and he rubbed and the genie from Aladdin comes out.
You know what infuriates me and keeps me up at night, like Jim and this Kingdom Hearts theory, is Jim's assertion that this game has a completely different plot from Final Fantasy VII.
It does.
It does now.
It does not.
It does.
I think it
does not.
I honestly think it does from this point forward. And
other
we'll
than the fact that we're going to go to all the same locations, meet all the same people, probably have very similar dialogue.
Well, because that's the
go
setting
through the
of
same
the
story
game.
beats.
It has the same setting, just different
they
stuff
rhyme.
happens.
Yeah, it rhymes.
Yeah. It's not Mako, it's Taco.
I'm gonna release Romeo and Juliet remake, and at the end they're gonna live, and you're all gonna say it's a completely original work.
All right, well, we should also talk about the fact that at this point, I think we all understand that these whispers are a
They're like
metaphor.
Destiny. It's like,
they're
yeah,
a metaphor for all of the weird nerds like Matt who are mad that this game is changing the plot of the original.
They're gatekeepers.
Yeah,
Literally.
they're trying to keep everything on rails because that's what makes them happy. But nope, Square Enix is like, no way, Jose, get out of here, nerds.
Oh yeah, Square Enix. They're gonna improve upon this fucking story by, taking all the stakes out and making sure that all the popular characters survive. It's great. It's good stuff.
That's how it be in 2023. We're tired of tragedy. We're tired of sadness. We just want happy times, good times with our good pals.
It's true.
It's true.
What I want is to fight a big boss who I hurt. What's the word? It's when it's like you're hitting part of it and it's taking sympathy.
Purd is the word.
Purd.
Purd.
It's like when you punch Tomax and Zaymot gets injured as well, because that's how this boss fight works.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, since we're bouncing around a bit, you have this I don't know what you would call it, small level. It's not really a dungeon. And you fight these same three bosses over and over and over again. How many times do you fight them? Do you think 4, 5?
Well,
I
yeah,
think
you
it's
fight
4.
them. You fight them a couple times, and then doesn't your party get split up? And you have
Yeah.
to fight.
Couple-
You have to fight them one on one.
You fight them 4 times.
Yeah, you fight them a bunch of times.
But then when you're finally fighting them for the last time, there's this giant whisper monster, and this damages the whisper monster. It's weird. Like you stagger one, and then Barrett will shoot a big blast at the giant monster, and it'll really hurt it.
Yeah, that's like the second phase of it. The first
It's
phase
dumb.
of it, you stagger it. If you stagger one, all the stagger damage you do hurts the big one. And then in the second phase of it, whenever you stagger them, is when Barrett fires directly at it. It's a long fight, big boss rush.
I mean, it's not a boss rush, because a boss rush would be bosses from earlier in the game and then fighting them all in a row.
I would
This
have
is
been
not a
so
boss
mad
rush.
if that happened. Those boss fights
This
are all
is
20
just
minutes long.
Terribly designed boss fight that lasts way too long, but keeps you in basically the same spot, fighting basically the same monster over and over and over again for what basically amounts to, I said basically a lot, but what pretty much amounts to a full hour of your life of just fighting these this one trio of bosses again and again and again.
It's
Although
like
we
that
should
one
It's boring and it's bad and it's
Kingdom
shitty
Hearts
and it sucks.
fight with that spaceship you have to keep fighting.
Yeah.
Oh, in the first one?
Yeah, except for Donald Duck isn't gonna fucking do a Zeta Flare, so
Oh, that fucking Zeta Flare is so cool.
It's going to
the
be
best
so
thing that's ever
amazing
happened in
when
video
Donald
games.
Duck Zeta flares Sephiroth.
I can't wait.
Oh,
He's
man,
probably
that's
going to
great.
Zeta flare the meteor. You
That'd
know,
be
like the
great.
meteor's on its way, and
Oh,
Volvox just
can't-
like, say it loud.
I think that can happen. I mean, Sephiroth's in the Kingdom Hearts games, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
is
was
the Sephiroth in the Kingdom Hearts games the Sephiroth from the original Final Fantasy, or is the Sephiroth in the Kingdom Hearts games the Sephiroth from the remake?
No, it's from the remake. I think that this is going to explain to us
they
how
came
all
out
of the Final
before the
Fantasy
remake.
characters got to Traverse Town. It's a prequel.
That would be,
I would
wouldn't it be
fucking love
great
that.
if, like, now that they're in a new timeline, instead of starting in Calm, like they say is going to happen, they start in Traverse Town?
Jim,
I would love that.
are you ready for my hot take about this section?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I
What?
thought this was a good ending to because you're basically defeating fate. You're defeating
Yeah.
the time. If it's my original idea that those are Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett from the original timeline, and they're trying to stop you from erasing them from existence, I like it. I think that's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't mind
I
this
think
at all.
another cool touch in this fight is that after every kind of cycle of the big Whisper Harbinger, it like shoots sparkles into the heads of the characters, and they get visions of stuff that happens later.
Yeah.
Like Cloud gets a vision of like leaving Aerith in that lake after she's died, and they see like basically all this tragic shit that's going to happen to them if they choose to go with the existing timeline. And
Yeah,
so,
they
like,
see
it
Midgar
just adds
getting
more,
crushed.
yeah, like adds more urgency to like what you're doing. Is like, you know, we can avoid all of this by fighting these
Yeah,
things.
but is that really a good thing? Because in the
Well, that's what
end,
we don't
their
know.
sacrifice is what saved the world, which is why Genova, in disguise as Aerith, is trying to get them to change their story.
But the only thing that doesn't make sense with this theory, well, except for the Genova part, but if Sephiroth is aware of the current timeline, why does Sephiroth fight Cloud at the end?
Well,
After
he
this.
asks Cloud. Well, I think one, he's actively trying to manipulate Cloud whenever he can.
Yeah, for sure.
And two, he makes. I didn't really understand if he was seriously making the offer, but he does tell Cloud like, "Hey, join me, and we can defy destiny forever," or something like that.
Maybe you can do that by not joining him.
So yeah, after
And
you
also, we're
defeat-
skipping ahead. Like,
Yeah, but
so we fight.
skipping ahead 30 seconds, you know, you defeat that boss, and then suddenly
Yes.
Sephiroth is like, and we can, now that we've destroyed Destiny, you can join me, and together we'll be father and son, more powerful than any force, or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it a father and son thing? Is it a romantic relationship?
No, I was trying to quote Star Wars, but I don't remember how that line actually goes.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
think
You got the quote exactly right. Darth
Yeah.
Vader says, "Join me, and we can be father and son, controlling the universe and stuff."
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes.
But yeah, so I liked this fight. I thought it was going to be way harder than it was, but it's pretty easy. And I like that your characters. I love it when RPGs do that. It's like you're in a solo fight, and then one character jumps back in, and they get a little
Yeah.
one-liner, and then the next character jumps back in, and they get a little one-liner.
But they
Yeah.
do that twice, don't they? Because they do that
They do
all
it
during
in the
fate.
fight with the Whisper Rubrum things.
Yeah,
and
then
they
again,
do it again
the fight
here.
with Sephiroth.
Yeah.
I
But I
do
did
like
like-
it, though.
I'll clap
I
whenever it
did
happens.
like everyone, because originally at the end of Final Fantasy VII, it's just Cloud fighting Sephiroth in a very, very similar space battle out in the middle of space. But this time, everyone joins in, and they're all doing it as a team instead of just Cloud. And I was like, oh, this makes my heart warm.
Y'all remember the end of Live a Live when everybody fights together and it was
Yeah.
the most amazing thing?
Man, that game was great.
It was.
So let's see. So we defeat Sephiroth. We just kind of go to a standstill, and then he runs away. So I want to know what you guys make. I guess we do kind of get an ending here, huh? Sephiroth does say something very cryptic here, which is 7 seconds till the end. What do you guys?
Yeah, what was
do you
that?
guys think that means?
Not a
No.
second, but 7
so
seconds
much of this has
away.
been actual word salad that I think it means nothing.
So I watched a YouTube video, and in this YouTube video, this YouTuber surmised that 7 seconds, there's some kind of 7-second window in between when something happens in the ancient's place and when she's stabbed, that they think it might relate to that.
Huh. Okay.
All right.
So, and that's like the best. That's like the only thing that's made sense. So, I don't know.
Isn't that
what
I mean,
hoped
I don't
it
think it
meant-
does make sense.
Yeah. What I hoped it meant was that there was 7 seconds left in this game and it was just going to cut off, but that did not happen.
That would
would've
actually
really
been an
cool.
amazing. Yeah, 7 seconds left, Cloud. What are you gonna do? And then just
Yeah.
black the end.
Yeah,
that would have been
it would have been
amazing.
great. And then it would have been like, does Sephiroth know he's in a game?
Ooh, okay, I don't like that.
That would be pretty cool.
Don't
No,
like
it would
that.
not.
Yeah.
At all, in any
Too
way, shape,
meta.
or form.
Too
At the
meta.
end of the game, I want Sephiroth to turn to the screen and say, via, AI voice text, my actual PlayStation username, and say, well, you did it.
It would be like the end. It would be like the end of a Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
you
Yeah.
just have to talk to that girl who knows she's in a video game.
Yeah.
In Fallout 4, there's one character that they programmed to know not every name, like it didn't have a voice to text interpreter at that time, but it knew about like 100 male names and 100 female names or something, and it knew the name Vanessa, which I used for my first character. So I walked up to it and it was like, Vanessa. And I didn't even notice. Like, it didn't register to me like, oh, it's using my actual name. I'm just like, yeah, that seems right. And then later I was like, oh, this character says your actual name. I'm like, actually, come to think of it, it did say my actual name.
That's funny. All right, so
Actually, forget PlayStation username. I want Sephiroth to be like, Vanessa, from the Square Roots podcast. I've been listening to your show.
Congratulations on your 3 silver trophies.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I want whatever game trophies I've gotten from this game, I want Sephiroth to bring them out personally.
These are
Like
for
present
you.
them to you.
Yeah. This one's
So
normal.
what is the ending
rare.
of? I really
Only
did like.
12.9% of players have gotten this one.
I really did like everyone getting visions. Like that's why I like the ending of this game. I think it really helps a lot with my liking of the game and forgiving it for all the parts I didn't like of the game, because
Yeah.
I liked everyone getting visions of what happens. I mean, right now the metaverse is so hot right now, and like timelines and stuff, and
Yeah.
it is a
So hot.
timeliney game.
Yeah.
Like Mortal Kombat 1 is basically just Final Fantasy 7 remake of Mortal Kombat. So
The thing that I like about this is that it's making like a meta statement on itself, like, which is what meta is, but it's also making a statement on just the idea of remakes in general. And like that's, I don't know, that just really works for me the way they're going.
I think
about
that
it.
you are all like doing a lot of work for the game that it
No, I
doesn't do
don't think
for
so.
itself.
I like Jim's. He talked about this in the original bonus episode we did on the show, that the Whispers are basically fans who want the game to go just exactly as it did the first time.
Yeah.
Why would you not want that? Like
I would. That would be boring.
Absolute
Yeah,
classic.
We've already
Yeah.
played that game. I've
Yeah.
already played
It's a
that game.
classic. It's a classic that like earned its
I don't know.
classic
I feel
status
like,
with its like good and deep and interesting story. And then this game is like, oh well, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
I wanted to
instead."
Which is
retell
good.
the same story. I don't
Yeah,
want to.
we've already-
that story's still
that
been
game
told already.
exists.
I know what happens.
I'm more excited to play the next chapter if it diverges from the original than if it
Yeah, for
follows
sure. Me too.
the original one for one.
It's not good.
So I forget
Right.
what happens after this. Like
Yeah,
after
so
you
we
defeat
get
Sephi.
we see like Rufus is sitting in his father's chair.
Oh yeah.
We see that. We see
President
that. Yes,
Shinra.
we see that Hojo sees Genova's empty tank, and he begins to laugh maniacally. Do you guys in the original remember the next place we run into Hojo?
Your mom's house.
Yeah.
It's when he's on the beach. Remember, you can go to that like beach town, and he's on the beach, and he's like trying to get a tan or something. And let's see, you see Biggs. Biggs is recovering in a bed.
But Jesse's glove. Jesse's glove is
you
next
see
to him.
Jesse's glove on the desk as well. So
Does that mean she's alive?
Potentially.
Yeah. Why would they bring her glove there if she wasn't alive and recuperating?
Oh, gee, these characters who had meaningful deaths in the original are now still alive? What a surprise. This is garbage, and I'm glad that you guys like it, but I don't. I think it's trash.
But you can go
It is
play the original
trash.
if you want the original.
Yeah, it still exists.
What's that got to do with anything? No, I can't. I had to play this game for this show. So please don't tell me that I can go play the original, because I did play the original, but now I'm playing this because it was foisted upon me.
Twice.
And now we get like the ultimate indicator that the timeline indeed has been changed, and that there's another timeline. So we get a cutscene of Zack and Cloud, and where Crisis Core where Crisis Core basically ends is Zack dies defending Cloud in this battle, where all of these Shinra troops like go and attack them. And
you
Crisis
got a
Core,
flashback to it in original 7 as well.
Yes, yeah. So in Crisis Core, Zack protects Cloud. He gives a speech and then dies. In this timeline, it shows Zack surviving. He finishes the battle and is able to take like a semi-conscious Cloud and carry him into Midgar.
This is why I think Aerith is Genova, because we see we see these events as if they're happening simultaneously. Cloud and Zack walking towards Midgard, and our party walking away from it. But Aerith seems aware that she's walking where Cloud and Zack walked. Like, she almost looks at the past event.
Which couldn't have happened at the same time, because Cloud's already. I don't understand.
So
it would have been like
I'm not
2
saying
weeks
they're happening
before.
at the same time.
I think they are happening. I think they are happening at the same
Doesn't make any
time.
fucking sense.
Well, I think
So are you telling me that this is a multiverse now?
Yes, because like at the beginning of this
Great.
cutscene,
That's what we need more of, is multiverses.
well, at the
It's so
beginning
hot
of this
right now.
cutscene, like an empty bag floats toward the camera, and it's got an alternate version of stamp on it, like the Shinra corporate propaganda dog. It's got a different version of stamp on it, so it's like it's a different timeline.
A different stamp. And I think this is my hot take, that when you see everyone dead from the tornado in the trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, it's from the Zack timeline, which
think you're
explains the Zack scene at the end of Intergrade.
You know
Or
what? I think
Intermission.
it would honestly be pretty awesome if in the next game, or even in the third game, you got to switch between playing as Zack or main party. Like if you were able to play that whole thing simultaneously, that would be pretty awesome.
When I'm playing a party with Zack and Biggs and Jesse, I'm going to be having so much fun.
With Zack, Leslie, Sonon.
Zack, Leslie, and Johnny. I heard in the next game they're gonna make Madame M a summon. She'll come in and massage the enemy's hand until they have an orgasm and pass out.
First, let me finish my thought about Aerith being Genova. Aerith has Cloud's memories because she's Genova, and Genova, when she's in your little cells, she gets your memories and shit. That's all I had to say. That's why she knows where he walked.
And
with Zack.
Sephiroth is Genova as well, right?
Yes.
I mean, clearly at this point in Final Fantasy Remake, Sephiroth is not Sephiroth. He's Genova.
Part 2. Matt, here's my proposal. We get to the bit where Aerith is supposed to die. I understand you feel that That was a powerful story moment. What if rather than eliminating the death there, Cloud dies instead?
I would be 100% for that, but it's not going to happen. But I'm 100% for that. 100% kill Cloud. Because as we're about to learn as we discuss the intermission, and as we have already figured out by playing Tifa in this game, Cloud is the worst character. In fact, I said this in the group earlier, but I'll put it on the show. I feel like they made Barrett as boring as a playable character can be, specifically because they realized that Cloud was so boring that they had to make somebody more boring. And they can make a good, fun, playable character because Tifa's amazing and Yuffie's amazing. But instead we get Cloud, who, you know, you go into Punisher mode and then you slice him a lot and maybe you cast a spell. He's boring.
Yes. The only time he wasn't boring was when he was being cute about his makeup. It's the one Cloud
he wasn't
line I liked.
boring when he was in drag.
I just liked when he showed a little bit of a sense of humor, being like, what's the line? Like, hair, nails, nailed it.
Yeah.
Makeup, hair, nails, nailed it.
Yeah.
It's the best line in the
so-
game.
It is.
Hey. I was waiting for Vanessa to finish, and now I got my hot takes.
Oh, yeah,
Y'all
yeah.
get your hot takes. Here are my hot takes. One, Matthew saying this is better than the original saying that we think it's better than the original Final Fantasy VII. Don't say that. I think the original Final Fantasy VII, much better game, much more consistent all the way through. This game is way peaks and valleys, but I still enjoyed the crazy plot stuff too. This game makes me once again really hate stupid Advent children because it is very, very obvious, both in the original Final Fantasy VII and in the flashbacks to the original Final Fantasy VII, Midgar gets destroyed. Why is it still around in Advent Children? That movie was fucking trash. I hate it the way Matthew hates this game. And three, I don't know. I just think this game's otherwise pretty good. That's my hot take.
All right, Matt's hot points. I don't hate this game. I think that it's got really low lows. It's a roller coaster, and it really sucks at times, mostly when it takes the agency away from the player and forces you down a tunnel, but also in the way that they tamper with a really good story overall. Final Fantasy VII's not perfect, but regardless, I don't hate this game. I've enjoyed big chunks of it. I think the combat's actually pretty fun, and it looks great. And there are parts where I really love it. Like I would play way ahead. I played way ahead of the show several times, but overall, I think it's pretty weak.
Jim.
That's
Listen
how
to
I'm
Matt
squarely
going on
against,
like this is
so-
squarely against. That's not what
No,
it's
well, I
time
think
for.
we all are. We're all
Yeah,
defending
yeah.
or undefending this game.
Yeah, I think this game is good. It feels like two different games, kind of. I feel like the first half they almost made like here's what a next gen total remake of Final Fantasy VII would kind of look like, and then the second half they really opened it up a little bit, and it gave the player a lot more freedom to run around to different environments and do different stuff, and it just felt like a better game in the second half. I think the first half is very handholdy and can be kind of a drag, and I think it just kind of ramps up as it goes, especially in the last third. I think the combat's good. I think the voice performances are all very good. And I like what they do with the plot. But I do agree with Matt that the game does really try to pull you back a lot in a lot of spots, which sucks. And it really kind of pulls down the whole game when it does that.
I think it's interesting that I think in this remake, Tifa and Barrett are like the best and most interesting characters, because I feel like in the original, Cloud and Aerith are kind of the stars of the show. Mm-hmm. And this game takes two of the less interesting characters and does a ton with them, particularly Barrett, who really kind of becomes the star of the game.
You know, I have to wonder if the original, if that would have shown through in the original, if it would have had a better localization.
Yeah,
Because it has a famously terrible translation,
Yeah.
right? So I wonder if like those characterizations were intended from the beginning. Just American audiences didn't pick up on it because the translation was so bad.
So Jim, what were you? So what? Are there any extra scenes at the end? I'm trying to remember. So you said Hojo goes on vacation.
Yeah. Well,
President
Hojo
Shinra.
laughs because Genova's gone. President Shinra, President Rufus Shinra, Biggs in bed.
Jim,
Yeah.
I know why Hojo's laughing. Because he's got his vacation booked for tomorrow, and he sees that he's just leaving things in just the worst state, and he's laughing at how like the Vice lead of technology is going to have to deal with this shit while he's on vacation. That's why he's laughing.
Yeah. And let's see, Biggs is in bed. We see Jesse's glove. We get the Zack scene, which kind of blew my mind when I first saw it, honestly, because I don't really know. I don't know how they're gonna. I don't know what that means, you know. And it's something that's truly puzzling because I don't know. I think the whole Zack Cloud dynamic is very interesting.
I wonder if it's going to be like a Dreamfall: The Longest Journey, where it's like there's two main characters, 2 or 3, and it kind of goes between them in each chapter.
That would be fun. I think Zack is a cool character too. He's kind of like he's like a real super optimistic, let's go kind of like annoyingly positive anime character. That's kind of his whole deal. And it's kind of annoying, but it's also kind of endearing. So he's just it would be a cool foil to Cloud, I think. Cloud's seriousness is like the bright, cheery Zack. He's like a boy version of Aerith, kind of.
I didn't really realize that the Zack thing was supposed to be like an alternate timeline. I'm still not convinced that's true.
It's 100% true.
I'm still not convinced that's true. Just because you fucking saw a YouTube video about it, bud, doesn't mean that it's
see
true.
an
dog
alternate-
was different
you see an
on the
alternate
bag.
stamp. Yeah, you see a different stamp.
Oh boy, you see a different stamp. So that's confirmation.
It is. Why would they
This
show
is
you that?
absolutely true.
I didn't even
I don't
notice
know how
that was a
they're gonna
different
handle that.
dog.
It's a totally
I just
different
don't-
dog.
I don't trust Square to write a good fucking story. I mean, that's just what it comes down to.
So you've said,
It's been years.
but no, I mean this was made sort of contemporaneously with the development of Final Fantasy 16, and we all
With a
think that
completely
has a
different
good story.
director and writers. Not the same people at all. So
All right.
All right, intermission time.
Intermission time. And that doesn't mean
damn.
take a break. Well, I guess the listeners can. Just press that pause button if you need
Well, how does
to.
that
like to take a
song
break.
about snacks go? Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go
Yeah.
to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat.
just trying to say that I don't like this game, and I just don't think we should keep playing it on the show. I think we should stop.
Nope.
We're almost at the end, kind of.
Well, I think Matthew is joking because we finished the game. I think that's
Yeah.
Matthew's joke, right?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clear.
I thought it was funny.
All right, intermission. We
haven't.
finally get to play as Yuffie. Yuffie, the best character. Oh my
I always
gosh.
thought it was Yuffie, and now I've learned I was wrong.
I thought it was Yuffie when I was a kid,
I
and then I
never-
saw Advent Children, and they say
Why would you think it was Yuffie? I never cared about Yuffie, kind of. You know, like I just didn't give a shit about Yuffie. She's just one of those side characters you collect. But this DLC definitely changes my mind. It makes her delightful, wonderful.
I do
Perfect.
love
And I'll
Buffy
kill
the Vampire
anybody.
Slayer.
So you're saying that if they change the Aerith death scene so that Yuffie gets
Yuffie?
stabbed instead of Cloud and Aerith,
Yuffie the Vampire Slayer.
you won't be into that?
Buffy.
Are you saying if they fridged Yuffie, would I like it? No.
Would you cry like you cried when Aerith died?
Or when he cried when
He's ignoring me.
Sonnen died. I bet Vanessa was just all tears with Sonnen. She's like, not Sonnen.
Fucking the end of this, spoiler for the end of what we're about to talk about, but they're like, by the way, here's this terrible, tragic story of a man dying. And there's this terrible fucking, like, for a moment, you're like, oh, we're seeing him dead and, like, I guess in heaven and meeting his sister again. But then it's like, nope, that's a Jacob's Ladder situation. What? Actually, this is just his brain dying.
What?
And, like... All right, well, we'll talk about it in a moment.
All around me are familiar faces.
All right, Jim, will you fucking tell us about this stupid DLC?
Yeah. So
Yuffie's amazing. She's got a sweet Moogle hat on that legitimately looks like something one of my kids would wear. I would like to purchase one immediately.
She's wearing like a Moogle. What do you call this?
Poncho.
Like a shawl? Poncho.
It's like
yeah,
Yeah.
Moogle poncho. Yeah.
No, the poncho's just a poncho. The only thing about it that's Moogle is the hat.
But it's all one piece.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's a
all one
hood.
thing.
Definitely takes the hat off.
It's a hood. It's a hood.
Yeah, she puts the hood down.
She puts the hood down, yeah. But yeah, she's in this really cool Moogle poncho. She has her famous big old shuriken that you can use to do long range stuff. She has these awesome ninjutsu. Like, she's good at, like, it's kind of the best of both worlds. You get the cool, like, Tifa up close, like melee combat, and you can also do range stuff like Barrett could, but
And
way
then
better.
you get like a version with two people, and you don't control him directly, but you can like hit a button and he like synergizes with your attacks.
Oh, synergize, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So the awesome thing about Yuffie is that she has the ability to do elemental attacks, and you can, using an ATB bar, switch between different elements. And it's pretty great because it kind of solves the problem that we all had with the remake, which is that if you don't have the right element equipped, you're in trouble. And if it's not, and you're constantly switching out party members in remake. So maybe you've got all the elements equipped, or maybe you don't. But Yuffie doesn't have that problem because you can either attack up close, or you can throw her shuriken. What's that thing called?
Shuriken.
You can throw her shuriken and then stand back and do ninjutsu attacks. Very Naruto. And you can change the element of those attacks. So it really solves that problem of needing every kind of materia. And frankly, it's fucking fantastic. It's better. The combat in this DLC is better than any of the fucking combat in the remake, other than Tifa, just based on sheer fun, but it's close. Like,
I
Tifa's
really
super
like
fun.
playing as Cloud, and I like the whole Punisher parrying and then switching to Operator to do the sky fights.
I like that too. I think yeah, it's just I really gravitated towards the Yuffie combat too, just because of how agile she is.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. For sure.
Yeah, and like there's so many ways you can string together different combos and mix together the long range ninjutsu stuff with the close range stuff. There's just so many cool things you can do.
And eventually we get this awesome synergy attack where you've got a party member who we'll discuss in a moment, and if you pull the left trigger, they will synergize, and that gives you synergy versions of Yuffie's attacks, but they're super fucking overpowered and like really fun to pull off. And it's not hard.
Yeah.
I think Yuffie is delightful to play as, and really, really just nails what I think. It really refines the combat of Final Fantasy VII Remake in a way that nails it. It's super fun. So walk us through this fucking story, Jim, because we're Yuffie. And we show up. We show up in
Midgar. We are, as Yuffie says, an elite W agent, which means all of the elite agents from Wutai are all ninjas. So we are a ninja who is on a mission in Midgar 1 to meet the scouts that went ahead, and we're here to steal what do they call it? Like the ultimate materia from Shinra.
Yeah.
Shinra's developing
Shinra's
an
ultimate
ultimate
materia.
and we are here on behalf of Wutai to steal it, to use it against them. So we get to sector. I think we open in sector 6. Actually, we crossed over to sector 7.
She jumps into Sector 6 and she immediately gives a speech about how she's here to join with Avalanche. And it's complete with juggling and hand movements about materia and how together they can defeat it. And then
I was
she
so
looks
excited
around.
for the contact juggling materia.
Yeah. And then she
She's
looks
very
around
extra,
and
but
realizes
she's very,
that no
like,
one's there.
Gen Z, right? Like it's almost like she's performing for a camera at all times.
Yeah. And she's cool. She's just naturally cool in the way that the game wants us to think Cloud is.
Yes,
You
I
know,
agree.
The thing about Yuffie is she's not a tryhard. She's not like showing up on her motorcycle. She's just like, I'm in my Moogle hat. This is me. I'm just doing my thing. This is what I'm about. I love materia. And
She's
I'm not
also,
worried
like,
about being judged for it.
She's also super confident too. She's like, I'm the best ninja. I'm the best Wu-Tai ninja to ever come out. She calls herself a rare flower later. Like, she just has this like confidence about her that's really infectious, and she's very sincere, and she's just a cool character.
I can't decide if this game wants me to be horny for Yuffie, which I don't want to be because she's a teenager. But it seems to be trying, just as an example, and I think this is reminiscent of her original design, but when we finally get the Moogle costume off, she's got like short shorts on, but gotta have those pants unbuttoned all the time, I guess.
Yeah, it's a
know.
little...
I mean, I'm not the best judge, but she never. It doesn't. It's not like that one scene with Scarlet where it was just on Scarlet's boobs for a minute and a half. And I never found like the camera was lingering anywhere. But I seriously I didn't even notice Tifa's breasts in the art I used for the last episode, and that's the first
They're
thing
enormous.
everyone mentioned about it.
Yeah.
Like Vanessa's like, so you use that to show. How the weight Tifa's carrying both emotionally and physically, right?
Yeah. Well, I thought it was because it's like from the side and you can see her suspenders, and it's like for the physical activity she's doing, she really should be wearing a sports bra, and the suspenders are about where her breast should be squished down to, just for her own comfort. Yes, I did think it was weird that her top button of her shorts are always unbuttoned. I think, did Riku have that same thing in Final Fantasy X, or am I just imagining that?
I think you're right.
Is it like a thing?
Maybe it's a Japanese style thing. I don't know.
Unbuttoned pants?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think so.
Who knows? All right. So we're in Midgard. We have to meet our contact in Sector 7. We're hooking up with Avalanche. Not the crazy Splinter Cell that's doing all the bombing. Not those wackos.
Those lunatics.
Yeah, we're with the regular old Avalanche. And they've got their little headquarters set up in the basement of the Sector 7 clinic.
I'm looking at Riku. She does not have an unbuttoned button, but she does have a belt that kind of hangs down.
So I think Matthew, I don't know about Vanessa, immediately when I got to Sector 7 and then had quests to do, I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I hated this.
I was annoyed. Most of the quests are playing Fort Condor though, and I did find that I don't love that style of like
tower
lane
defense-y
tower
kinda.
defense, but I did find this very addictive.
Yeah, it was fun.
And so John and I did the same thing, which is absolutely won the whole thing.
Yeah. So
Couldn't stop playing it. Was annoyed with it the whole time. And every time I would start a game, I would be like, ugh, but then I would do it. Also, because the Fort Condor makes that squeak sound every time you start a fight, and they're very fast.
Yeah.
My son thought that we had a rat in the house and was freaking out. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. It was like, there's a squeaking in my room. And I was like, no, dude, it's my stupid game.
I don't know why you're talking about like you and Johnny won Fort Condor as if I didn't.
I also did.
Yeah.
We all
I
won.
didn't think
We
you
all-
guys played Fort Gondor because
Yeah.
you're fucking nerds.
I
and
said I
losers.
was a grandmaster.
We're all
And I didn't say
grandmasters.
it because I assumed that you would just
Jim, nobody
assume.
asked what your status in the clan was, you
Oh.
fucking freak.
That's
That's
Grand
that's
Wizard.
Grand Wizard. So you get to this basement clinic thing, and you're introduced to 3 characters who are they from a book? Are they
No,
from
I don't know. I think
Birth
they're
by
just
Sleep?
original characters. They're the blandest of the bland characters.
Yeah, there's Nokia, there's Gigi, there's
And like Yoko.
I don't know. There's like Lady Twink and blonder, younger Twink.
Yeah,
Well,
and like
they're-
Surf Guy.
yeah, Surf Guy Twink. That's Gigi,
I don't-
right?
No, that's not Gigi has short hair.
Well, he has blondish. Well, he has like what do you call that? Streak or tips? He has
One
frosted
guy's
tips.
name is
He
like
does not have tips. He's straight bleach blonde. Also, I kind of thought that buttoned up girl was kind of hot. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I understand
Yeah,
the
she was a
concept
mad
of
woman,
attraction.
alright?
She was
She
a
has
mad
the
girlfriend.
Glasses. I mean, the shirt was. I don't know if you guys noticed the way that it was like a weird like crossover button thing on the bottom.
I did not.
But on the top, it was like a nice button down.
Okay.
And then, but wasn't Surf Guy's name like Barefoot Bob or something like that?
What?
Like, didn't he have a?
oh,
didn't
Billy
he have
Bob.
a-
Wasn't it
something-
Billy Bob or Billy?
Billy Bob.
Yeah.
It's not Billy Bob though. It's like Bobby Boo.
It's something weird.
Yeah.
And then there's a nerd guy who teaches you about Fort Condor. Mm-hmm. And Yuffie decides she's going to go do some recon because this other guy isn't back yet. And then this is where you can do a
Yeah, the
few-
Burger King Kids Club asks you to do some recon, and they're like, "Hey, so we're Avalanche, but like we're not this other branch of Avalanche that we won't shut up about. That they're like renegades and they're too cool, and
Yeah.
you know we do things by the book. So why don't you
Yeah.
go
There's a good
do some
line.
quests?"
There was a good line with Yuffie and Sonon and the girl whose name I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Me either.
What is
Nuki.
it? All right. Well, yeah, Nuki.
I think it is Yuki. Is it Yuki?
Where
No, it's an end name. It's like Nova or Nava.
Nuki is like Neo is like.
Nora.
Why are you working with us? And they're kind of like, well, we'd rather be working with real Avalanche. Like,
Yeah.
we're working with you because you don't want us to work with them.
I think Yuffie even says at one point, sounds like we should have hooked up with those guys.
Yeah. And they're just
And
like,
if you walk
"Oh."
around town, like everyone's talking about how cool those other guys are. And-
No, they're
Yeah.
not. They're talking about how terrible Avalanche is.
Yeah. You can also. This is where you get to do some side quests. You speak to the Happy Turtle guy.
Yay!
And the Happy Turtle guy
This is
like,
great.
"Hey, I have these advertisements around town. If you
I
turn
don't
in,
think this is a side quest.
you
I
turn
think it
in-
makes you do this.
no, it
No,
doesn't.
it's a side quest.
You can turn in. He's like, if you find and turn in 6 of my flyers that I put around, then you get like a free membership to the Happy Turtle.
Well,
right?
let's talk about what Happy Turtle is. Happy Turtle is like a franchised bar for Muay Thai.
Turtle.
Yeah. Because like Yuffie is asking where Sonnen is, and they're like, "Oh, he's at Walmart probably." And
He's
they're
at
like,
Walmart.
"It's a place where people go to get drunk and like talk shit." And she's like, "Oh, there's a place like that in Wutai. It's called the Happy Turtle." And someone's like, "Oh, we have one of those here." And she's like, "What?"
And at
So you
first
go
she
talk to the-
disapproves. She has a real mixed relationship with her ideas about alcohol, I think. She seems to resent it, but she also wants to partake in it.
Yeah.
Well, it
she
sounds like
doesn't-
her dad's an alcoholic.
Yeah. It's more that she doesn't want to be treated like a kid, and that's why she's like, "Oh, I can drink more than you can. I've had like 1,000 beers." The Happy Turtle is another shitty fetch quest, but it's a shitty fetch quest with a good mechanic, and that mechanic is that you find these posters by hearing a Happy Turtle song, the theme song, around, and it gets
I love
louder.
her fucking dialogue. Every time she hears the Happy Turtles thing, she'll be like, "It's turtle time. Turtle power. I'm turting it up." Like every line of dialogue she has is fucking
Crushing
delightful.
turds.
Crushing turds. But yeah, and every every different Happy Turtle flyer is marked with the same theme in a different genre. So like one's like death metal, one is like electronic.
It's definitely not death metal. It's metalcore.
Metalcore.
Fucking figure it out.
The electronica one is a bop. That one is legit great.
I think
There's a great like Beach Boys sounding one that I honestly loved.
the jingle that
Of
comes
course,
out
that one
of
plays
your...
while you have to.
Let's
sneak
talk about that
behind boxes
jingle.
to hide from a
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's great. The jingle that comes out of your controller every time you get one. I looked for that for like a half an hour so I could make it the ringtone on my phone. It
Vanessa
is
got
the
so mad.
catchiest little jingle.
Because she doesn't want things to make a noise.
I don't.
She's playing and she doesn't want to wake up her mom.
Yeah. I'm playing like quietly in my room with my headphones on, and then the controller's like,
I loved it. Man, it was so good.
Gonna get fully wrecked at the Happy Turtle. Wanna get blind drunk at the Happy Turtle.
Those are
Get
the lyrics, isn't
inside,
it?
find a seat, order something strong. Chug, chug, chug. Doesn't matter who you are. Like we even care. Chug, chug, chug. Drink until the sun comes up. A drink till your brain goes numb. It goes on.
Yeah. There's on Spotify you can find the original soundtrack for this game, and all those Happy Turtle songs are on there, and they're all worth listening to.
Pound it,
mean, they're
down
not.
it, pound it, down
They
it.
are.
Hawksbill. Pound it, down it, pound it, down it. Slider. Turtles,
Jim
here's your
loves pop
rampage.
music, but only when it's really fucking cheesy, basically.
Yeah.
Like Taylor Swift, no,
No.
thank you. But if you want to put some ridiculous cheese in there, yes, 100%.
Chug, chug, chug. The Happy Turtle.
Love it. So let's see. So there's a Happy Turtle Flyer one. There's also Fort Condor. You can challenge different characters in Sector 7 to games of Fort Condor and go from rank
play
1
Jesse?
to Grandmaster.
You play Wedge,
Yeah.
you play Roche,
You
you
play.
play Chadley.
I love Roche's dialogue when you approach him. He's
It's
like,
amazing.
he says something like, normally your like foreign clothes and suspicious demeanor would alert me, but no, I have different stuff on my mind. This hunk of man on a motorcycle that I dueled with.
No,
Like, he
Roche
knows
says he's
a
looking.
spy, but he doesn't care
Yeah.
because he's so horny for Cloud.
Roche says he's looking for his best friend, and he's like, I lost my best friend. I have to find him. And he's like, where are you, friend? Come out. Be with Roche. Yeah, he's losing his mind.
I didn't notice it in Roche's dialogue when he showed up in Remake, but in this part of the game, you really recognize and understand that Roche is a theater kid.
Yeah.
Because that's how he talks.
He does. He's like, he's very close to using thou and like
Like
Yes.
forsooth why hast to thou forsaken
John
me.
had a real problem with Barrett in this section.
No,
He
let's not
thinks
talk
that
about
they
that.
changed-
No, let's not. Please, I was wrong. That's all I want to get into. And
I didn't really. Because you had played to that point when I had not, and then I played it last night, and I did not understand what the fuck you were talking about. Like, it's
yeah,
the
don't
same
worry
guy.
about it. Yeah.
All right, well that's intermission, and we're done. Right?
Chadley's also here in Sector 7.
I don't want
and-
to talk about Chadley. We haven't talked about Roche enough.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about Roche some more.
What else is there to say? He's a theater kid.
He remarks on how big Cloud's sword is, but he says his one true love is obviously his steed.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, Cloud is really into his sword, but he's more into his motorcycle, but what he's most into is me because we're best friends and I'm going to find him. I loved it. I really hope we get more Roche in the next chapters. He should be spending the whole game following Cloud like Cloud is following Sephiroth.
That would be great.
And anytime you get into a jam, he should like appear on his motorcycle, save
It would
you,
be
and
great
just be
if it had like a parallel storyline, like in Final Fantasy IX did, where you could do like the active time event and switch and see what's going on with this other character. It would just do that with Roche.
like, what's going on with Roche?
Wonder what Roche is up to. So yeah, we can battle different people in Fort Condor. Eventually, we come to like the top level after beating. I think Wedge is the level 3 person. We beat him, and we're like, well, who's the dang Grandmaster? Because we're supposed to get some great materia if we do it. And it turns out that it's Chadley, who's here in Sector 7. And he also has a VR battle for us if we want to get a new summon. It is Ramu.
I recommend doing it the second time you come back to
That's what I did.
Sector 7, because it's a little too
I
difficult.
recommend doing it
the first
immediately because I played on easy mode.
He
Yes,
was
me
like
too.
He was like one-shotting me on
Yes.
normal. Like at the
Yes.
beginning, if you try to fight him initially, he will literally one-shot you.
time. Yeah.
Like you really have to wait till you get sewn in. So
I didn't have to wait. I did it right away. I'm awesome.
Oh wow.
Yep, same.
Well, good job playing your baby games, babies.
Thanks.
Game's not good enough to make me want to play it on normal mode.
All right, so we have to hook up with Avalanche because we need to get ID cards to make it from the bottom plate to the top plate so that we can get into Shinra headquarters.
Yeah, none of this matters.
It does. And let's see. What happens next? There's something with Gigia, right? Aren't we have to follow him or
Yeah,
something?
we get a great chase scene. I don't really understand what happened.
Oh, I
Gigi's-
remember. We're following the Nuki out to where she's going to give us the ID cards. She gives us the cards, and then we see Gigia being chased by Shinra into that factory. So we're like, oh, isn't Gigia like a Wutai like us? We need to go save him.
I mean, his name is Gigi.
I thought it was Gigia.
Everybody else's name is like
it's
Cloud
Gigi.
and
Yeah.
Tiffany.
Nuki.
Oh, and he also has our ID cards as well. Like, because we need two sets of ID cards. We need like Shinra employee ones, and then ones to get onto and off the train. So we go through this factory to chase him down, and we get a lot of fun conveyor belt shenanigans. We can hit some switches with our shuriken.
I wouldn't call it fun. I would call it time wasting and terrible.
I think the box mini game is fun. There's a
Really?
conveyor belt ride where you have to throw your shuriken and get a bunch of boxes.
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
that
it's
once,
great.
and then I was like, I never need to do that again.
I'm not saying it's something I want to do over and over again, but I mean, it wasn't
I think
boring.
you're supposed to, though, aren't you? To like try
Yeah,
to
'cause-
best your box score or something.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Yeah, I bet for New Game Plus you could do it again and be like, yeah. But I didn't like this dungeon. I was thinking about why, because I mean the mechanics are. You know what? I think it's a boring location. I don't like
Yeah.
2-hour-long chases. And it reminds me a lot of there's a game called Enslaved that we should play on the show sometime. It'll
Yeah,
only be
I like that game.
episodes.
We should not play that on the show sometime.
But
I think we should. Enslaved
yeah, it's a
Odyssey
great-
to the
it's-
West.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
But
a good
there's
game. Not worth playing on the show.
3 hours of that game, and it's only like a 9-hour game, are in this junkyard that reminds me a lot of this, where it's like it destroys narrative momentum, and it's ugly, an ugly location, and it's really boring. And that is my hot take on this very boring dungeon.
That was a
But
hot take.
the music.
Oh yeah,
bangs.
that
The
kind of
music is fucking
60s,
fantastic.
60s
It could-
jazz.
You could squeeze it into an episode of Cowboy Bebop, and you would not notice the difference. It's amazing.
It did look like it should have the camera zooming in and out, and maybe like girls in like black and white checkers dancing. You know,
It's like Persona 5 vibe, that like acid jazz kind of vibe. Yeah.
Real mod.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I want to be done with this. Can we?
Yeah. We fight the big centipede mech. We beat it. And then we hear something big's going down in Sector 7, or is going to go down in Sector 7. There's also a cutscene that we get. I think it's actually before this, when Nuki is walking us to the warehouse to give us our ID cards. But we see Barrett and Tifa talking about what happened with Cloud. So they come back from their mission where Cloud falls down into Era's church and they don't know where he is, but they come back without Cloud. And like Biggs is real upset about it. And
I like this.
They talk about like kind of what to do next, and you see like what makes Tifa decide to go to Don Corneo's estate. It's a nice little addition, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I think that it's good. It should have been in the game.
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, it is weird in the original game. You just see her being carted off to like be a sex slave. That's very strange. So we get the cards from Gigia and we decide to go to Shinra headquarters.
Yay! The game does get a lot better as soon as you get out of this quasi-open world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
There is that cutscene too where you have to fight Corneo's guys who are like trying to kidnap Yuffie.
They're not trying to kidnap Yuffie. They're trying to kidnap the
Nuki.
woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even Corneo's
Also,
guys
let's stop saying kidnap and start saying sexually assault, because that's what it is, and it's really fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah. And then you beat them. And they're like, hey, we don't need to do this. The hottest girl ever just fell into our laps. They're talking about Tifa.
We're probably talking about Aerith.
Tifa.
Actually,
for sure.
You have
they're
to convince them to
talking
take
about
Aerith.
Cloud.
Maybe.
That's a good point. It's wrong, but it's good.
Yeah. So we go to
I
Shinra.
like my version better,
We go to.
but I admit that it's wrong.
Have we talked about Sonen?
No.
He's
Who the fuck is Sonen?
He's our partner.
What are you talking about?
He's the Wutai agent that got to Midgar before us.
Yeah, he's so great and cool, and everyone loves Sonen.
Yeah, he's super
hot.
cool. He
He's got a
has
stick.
he's a big stick. I like his kind of like boss employee relationship that he keeps insisting on with Yuffie. Like he keeps calling her boss, which she finds weird, and
There's a scene in between here as we head to Shinra headquarters on the train where he's like pinning her against the wall.
Yeah, that's weird.
That was very uncomfortable.
Is this where he
Very
tells her
uncomfortable.
about his sister?
Yeah, it tells her about his dead sister and how she died. But he's pinning her to the wall, and then at the end of it, she like slaps his arm away and like is like,
Well, she
"I'm
was
not your
getting motion
sister."
sick, right? He was trying to help her.
Yeah, she gets motion
Yeah.
sickness. Yeah.
He does the same thing later on, though. Like that seems to be his thing: is pinning Yuffie against a wall.
Isn't
I
there
don't
like a
it.
Japanese meme about guys talking to women like that? Vanessa told us about it. years
Yes,
ago.
there was. I
And
don't really
that's
know
all
what
we
to
have to
say
say
about
about
that beyond, yes, there was a meme. It's a fine thing to do if both parties consent to it. It's a weird thing to do if you're not already in a relationship with the person.
I couldn't do that to Vanessa because my face would just be in her breasts, and that would be weird.
Yeah, that's what everybody tries to do to me, though.
Teeny little Johnny?
Yeah, Sonen's sister died when she was killed by a Shinra mech. His sensei was also Yuffie's father, who is like a Wutai official who is in prison.
Yuffie does not have a good relationship with him.
No, I like that they're fleshing out all the Wutai stuff more from the original. It's interesting.
Yuffie seems to see her father as a drunk,
Yeah.
which is probably how my kids see me.
All around me are familiar faces.
What was I supposed to do in the background? Hubba hubba. Hubba hubba. What's that? Oh, that's right.
Sleeping on a hot dog.
Aw. That guy on a bike had his pizza in his face.
Oh man! All right, so
Anyway, that's intermission. So what do you guys squarely against?
So we get to Shinra headquarters. I think the pacing's a lot faster, so that's good.
you like immediately run into Scarlet.
Yeah, that's the downside. Is they walk in, they get into the elevator, and immediately Scarlet is in the elevator. She pegs them right away as what they are, and is like,
She would peg them.
Wutai
I believe it.
sucks, huh? Boy, Wutai, people from Wutai are just dum-dums, right? And they're like, yes, I agree 100%.
Somewhere in
like,
there,
lol,
Yuffie
lol.
removes her Moogle costume and just looks like Yuffie. And I gotta be honest with you, I was real disappointed.
That was in the
too.
Keep the
millipede
Moogle
side.
costume. She was
Yeah.
so amazing with her little Moogle hat.
I liked that sequence you get though when she takes it off because like
Yes.
there's fire.
Oh, that's
there's,
before
like,
the
fireworks
metal
going
pede
off behind
fight.
her.
She gets a whole crazy scene, and it's fucking fantastic.
There's
It
a
is.
dramatic close-up of her palm, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is going to make Vanessa very happy. Vanessa loves a Moogle palm.
I do. I loved it. It and it zooms in not all at once. It does like a jump zoom, so it's like doon 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 doon, and you just see the palm, and I'm like,
And yeah, it's
yes.
is it from her limit break that it does like a couple of reenactments of where she's in front of the moon? I think
Yeah.
that's from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Limit
has
break.
kind of like a Sailor Moon looking
Yeah,
moment
that was
Yeah.
fun. That was a lot of
It
fun.
was cool.
with cherry blossoms and everything flowing around.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, we run to Scarlet, and Scarlet decides to kind of put us through the motions with like all of her experimental weapons. So there's like just a
I
sequence.
mean, I liked
of,
it every time Scarlet was on screen. I don't know if you guys could tell.
That one cutscene that was just above her and following her around, and like her cleavage was in the center of the frame. That was the one. What did Jim call it? A rack focus.
Yeah, right. Well, like her boobs are in the foreground, and Sonon and Yuffie are in the background, and I said that's what I call a rack focus. Yeah, and then we end up getting a boss fight with Scarlet where she's in like her custom mech thing. This is all pretty easy.
Wait, but what about very slow moving elevator where you have to fight? Choose which fights. Vanessa's like, Johnny loves slow moving.
Yeah, I knew it would be your favorite part of the game.
I don't know why the dungeon designs in this game and in regular just aren't very good. It's just they're not very good.
Yeah. These were like the most boring enemies from the original playthrough too. Like these mechanical ones. They're just not very interesting to fight.
It's like Jedi mechs with laser swords.
Yeah.
That was all right. Or well, I guess
Oh,
her.
yeah,
I like
well, those
Scarlet's mech. I like the
Yeah,
Scarlet
well,
mech fight.
well, you fight Scarlet's mech, which is cool, and then you get those like, they're named something like Magitech armors. It's something like that. These like elemental mech armor suits that these weird those like spaghetti soldier guys.
I liked the big mechs with the laser swords because when you defeated them, they would like pop out of their armor
Yeah.
and roller skate around the level. It was fun. Also, they were easy because I was playing on easy.
But they're easy even if you're not. You just like
Yeah.
throw your shuriken into them and set fire to them.
Yeah.
I do like the mechanic there that you can steal their cores, like when they wind up their laser attack. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's cool. So we fight all these guys. When we do beat Scarlet, she activates this little like this little beeper, this little alarm that alerts.
Yeah, what is that?
That alerts the.
It's like on her thigh. Like
Yeah.
she basically reaches up to finger herself. It's
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 like
on her stocking.
it's like a garter. Yeah.
Yeah.
She hits it and it alerts
on her
the
thong.
Tisviets.
word
Yes,
again.
finally the Tisviets. We're so excited. Our
The
favorite
Tisviets?
characters.
From Crisis Core?
No, which you guys
Unders-
all might know from Dirge of Cerberus,
Of course
Final
we do.
Fantasy VII.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Duh.
Some real Kingdom Hearts bullshit.
Yes.
We know the
is what it
5
is.
named
faux show.
Tisviets and the color Tisviets.
Also, it feels a lot like Midgar is America and Wutai is, Japan. And clearly the Sitsiets are Russia, right? Like, that's the metaphor that we're going for here?
No,
I don't
not at
know.
all. I think Midgar is
100%.
Japan, Wutai's China, and the Tisviets are just Tisviets.
I hated these characters, but it makes sense that they're from Dirge of Cerberus.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
Dirge
as
of
long as
Cerberus,
you've
guys.
played Dream Drop, Birth by Sleep,
Yeah.
3D,
Advent
you're
Children
fine.
Deluxe.
Yeah, you totally know who they
358
are.
over 1/4 days.
This is fucking trash.
Yeah, these guys. So there's Weiss the Immaculate and Nero the Sable, and they're Tisviets. They are elite soldiers made by Shinra who were
Soviets.
Spliced,
Say it right. They're
Spliced,
Soviets.
spliced with the blood of Genesis. Genesis was the main antagonist of Crisis Core.
Of course, yeah.
He's the one played by Gact.
What?
He's played by Gact.
Yes.
My favorite
Gak,
Tisviet.
the slime that you
Yeah.
get to play with that's made by Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
My favorite Tisviet, Shelky the
Soviet.
Transparent, isn't in it, which I was disappointed about.
Yeah. Shelky
Didn't
is
they-
a major character in Dirge of Cerberus,
As we know.
as we all know.
But we do get a good long look at Nero the Sable, who is a man with a jockstrap on his head.
I think
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I like the way I described him in the group chat, which is a mind freak.
It's a
He's
mind
a
freak.
Chris Angel mind freak.
But he's
Yeah.
also
He's
got,
got,
like
like-
a big mullet.
Yeah.
But he has like metal wings, but the wings have like little hands at the tips.
Yeah, doesn't it
It's
freak your mind?
so fucking bad. It's
But
so stupid.
Well,
looking.
okay, so it cuts to him and his brother's like, they're making the mistake of trying to make a digital version of me. And then it cuts to Chumley, and
Yes.
Chumley's like summoning him. And it's like, is Chumley secretly evil?
No.
Oh, okay.
In New Game Plus, you can battle Warren the
Weiss, the Immaculate.
Warren the Clean in Chumley's simulation. That's all Chumley's doing.
Yeah, you can get
okay.
the ultimate accessory in the game by defeating him. Do you
I got a
guys,
ribbon.
Do you guys care for
That's
me
the
to
ultimate
explain
accessory.
who these guys are?
No.
Yes,
do you
I
wanna know?
That's your job.
I really do want to know.
Okay, so like I said, these guys were kind of made by Shinra by splicing them with the genes of Genesis. Genesis is like a very powerful character from Crisis Core, and it turns out, as you learn in Dirge of Cerberus, that you know how Vincent has the chaos thing inside of him.
Yes.
There's another thing called Omega that is inside of Weiss, and which is they find out is actually another weapon, like you know those weapon monsters that you fight that protect the planet. Omega is something like that, but instead of like physically protecting the planet, its job is to suck up the entire life stream and basically go find another planet and like leave this current one to die. So what you're trying to do in Dirge of Cerberus is keep Weiss from activating Omega so that can't happen.
This is worse than a Kingdom Hearts game.
No, Matthew, I'd say it's equal.
I'd say
Come
it's
on.
equal.
Yeah. All right.
I'd say there's
But in Kingdom Hearts, you expect random elements to show up because that's the nature of the game, and that's not what Final Fantasy VII is.
True. I would say this one is a little bit better to me because it's got much fewer characters. There's not 13 nobodies to keep track of that were other characters in 200 years prior and all that kind of stuff. But I
found
agree.
it easier to keep track of them because they showed up prior, and in this they just kind of show up.
Yeah.
Like, hi, I'm Weiss the Immaculate.
Yeah, I hope there's not more of this stuff in
There will
the
be.
future games. Like, I hope that they just
100%
kind
will
of
be.
leave this.
They're setting Jim. They're setting this up as being at least Yuffie's like plot, her motivation.
Yeah, for sure. You can see in the
I
Rebirth
see. Yeah, for
trailer
sure.
that she's like running from something, and it's definitely these people.
That's well, okay. So I kind of like that dynamic then because that ties into what's going on with Vincent too. So it's a cool way to introduce Vincent.
Yeah, Vincent's not going to show up though.
will
I think he
eventually.
will.
Your
He'll at least
crazy theories,
he'll
Matt.
be
They're too
pounding-
out of control.
he'll be pounding the ground when something happens. You'll just see a cut of Vincent.
Yeah.
And that'll be-
Yeah. He'll be like, oh
like Kate
no.
Sith.
Yep.
Catchy.
So we end up having to fight Nero the Sable. His power is like he can suck people into darkness and it kills them.
Yeah,
I
he
was a
can.
fool. When I first played this game, I was but a child. I thought that defeating Scarlet was the end. Why would they introduce two characters from out of nowhere and then make them the most dramatic thing that you're supposed to be super freaked out about? But then they do.
You're
It's
the
terrible.
Sable. No way.
Whoa, it's Weiss the Immaculate.
So I did die. One of the two times I died in this game was in this fight. I did die, and unfortunately, it doesn't have a check. I thought it would have checkpoints like when they smash through the glass or go back through the glass. It does not. You have to do that whole damn thing over again.
Oh no.
Yeah, so you defeat Weiss and it looks like he goes away, and then you're about to leave and he shows up again and he's about to attack Yuffie and then Sonnen jumps in front and Sonnen takes the
You don't hang
blow
on.
for
You don't really defeat him. I mean, like you beat him,
Yeah.
but then
Well, and
there's like
then
a
you-
quick cut scene
Yeah.
of them being like, "Oh, we gotta run. Like he's too tough for us."
No, don't they?
Even though you
don't
beat
they
him.
do
kill him.
like we gotta finish this, and
Yeah,
then they
they
do
finish
like a
it.
sweet combo attack,
Yeah.
and it looks like he dies.
They're like, well, this Metal
Yep,
Gear
we did
Solid
it.
boss is dead.
Yeah.
Job done.
But
Let's
nope. He comes back and he kills Sonnen. And what is? I think this landed pretty well. Like it didn't make me cry or anything, but I was like, okay, I believe that Yuffie's upset. She's got blood on her face. It's pretty
Well,
tragic.
it is one of those things that you see in a lot of like anime and such, where someone is being grievously, like he's being stabbed as they have a sad conversation. He
Yeah.
gets stabbed twice while
Yeah.
they're talking, and it's a very long and sad. Which I understand. It's like a narrative trick, right? Like I understand it's not supposed to be real that they're
Right,
sitting there
yeah.
for
He
45
legitimately
seconds.
gets like 9 swords through his neck.
Yeah.
And then is still like,
Yeah.
let's have a conversation
But
about
it's like he's
my
talking
past.
to his sister, right?
Yes.
He's talking to Yuffie, but he's actually talking to his sister. And he says like he's sorry for not being able to save her, I think. And it's a pretty good little speech. And then Yuffie escapes and she runs out of Shinra headquarters crying, just in time to see the plate fall on Sector 7. And she screams in frustration into the night.
But I just want to talk about Sonon's quick death, where
Yeah.
he's, I get, so Matthew's saying it's a Jacob's Ladder thing, so he's like dying and getting these purple tendrils in him, but then he sees his sister and they have the chow beans and they zap just like they do when you give them. So is that just
But
his
then he like
dying
but
brain?
Then, well, but then he's like, wait, I'm dying. And then we get like a different scene of him like crying as he dies alone.
Right. That was,
So like there's
that
like
was
a
a bummer.
Jacob Ladder situation where he's like, you for a moment I thought anyway that he was like, I guess, in the afterlife and meeting up with his sister.
Yeah.
But then you realize, no, that's not what's happening. What's happening is he's fucking dying. Alone, and he like cries and sobs as he like remembers how his sister died. It's pretty fucking brutal,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, but not like in a good way, in a shitty way.
Doesn't he sink into the darkness too?
I don't think. I think
I
it
don't know.
cuts before that.
Oh, okay.
And then
Okay.
then you have Yuffie being like, "I'm not your sister. You didn't have to save me." And, yeah, I mean, she's kind of right there, you know.
Does she have a death wish?
No, she just wants to be treated as an equal, I think.
Yeah.
So she wishes she was dead.
She has survivor's guilt.
She's in Crisis Core 2, which
Okay.
takes place not long before this, and she's a couple years younger, and she still wants to be like
So
the
not
grown
long,
up.
but a couple of years.
Yeah. Okay, and then so we cut to Yuffie's riding a chocobo, and she
An
says,
hour long movie is what we got to.
and it shows Yuffie, she's riding on a chocobo, and she says that she needs to recruit a team in order to finish her mission because she failed in her mission to get the ultimate materia because it wasn't ready yet.
She was very.
I mean, she got the ninja bomb materia.
Yeah.
Is that what you get for doing Fort Condor?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. You find it in the Shinra headquarters. You find a ninja bomb
Yeah.
Yeah,
materia.
that's a fun one. I like a ninja
Yeah.
I
cannonball.
didn't use it.
Yeah, Ninja
Cannonball.
Yeah,
Cannonball.
ninja cannonball.
I use that a lot. I did like Yuffie just walking in. I mean, it's super coincidency, fan servicey thing. But as she walks out and just sees, oh, there's Sector 7 getting obliterated. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was sort of a good character moment for her because it then makes sense why she would be willing to go up against Shinra and all that stuff in the sequels.
She's super mad at them.
And then we get a whole other like coda for the main game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Not a
goes
lot
on and
happens.
on and on.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Barrett and Tifa stuff, it's just character moments of them being like, I guess we gotta walk. Oh, let's go on. Let's hitchhike on this truck.
Yeah, when they were
Chocobo
hitchhiking
Bill.
and Aerith was doing the thumb thing, I was like, they probably get more luck if Tifa's out there. You know what I'm talking about? Especially
It
if
was both of them.
Especially if Choco Billy is driving
Yeah.
up, But they do get in the truck with Choco Billy, the Chocobo farmer from the original, and they go to the crossroads where to the right is Chocobo Farm, to the left is Calm. They get off the truck at that point. It starts raining, and they walk to Calm.
Yay!
Then you get another scene, which shows Zach, and Zach is going back to the church, back to Aerith's church, because he and Aerith were in a relationship in Crisis Core. So he goes back to see her, and
in the original.
yeah. And he goes to the church, and she's not there, and they're like refugees from Sector 7, and he's like, "What's going on here?"
I thought everyone was sad because Aerith. It seemed like they were there to mourn Aerith, like they were sad about that. But I wasn't totally
thought they
sure.
were there. They were like refugee people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they
Either
were
coulda worked.
refugees.
But like, I think it was you that mentioned this earlier, John. Like they mentioned a tornado in the Rebirth trailer. I
Yeah.
wonder if they're the people who were displaced by that big tornado, and that in this reality, Aerith is actually like dead.
Yes,
Yeah, maybe.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
Yeah.
And I thought people were there to mourn her, but you're right. It could be refugees. Who knows? We'll find
Yeah.
out next year.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Good job, guys.
We did it.
All right. I guess.
Where are we playing to next time, John?
Oh, we are going to play. This is a little bit of a soft one, just in case it's too short of a chunker. But I remember it being kind of a longish chunker. You get to Meriba. You arrive at Meriba in Lunar, the Silver Star. It's
Silver
this-
Star Story.
Yeah. There's a couple of dungeons.
Nobody's playing it on Sega CD.
I am not. I'm playing it on Silver Star Story Complete on PlayStation 1.
I'm playing it on iOS.
I'm not playing it legally. Got an emulator.
Which version?
PSX.
Ah, yeah. Same one as me.
Yep.
I bought it
All right.
in 2009, and it's like, I should finally play this.
So, are you roundly
Let's talk
for
about what
or
we're
squarely against Final Fantasy VII Remake?
I'll go first. I'm roundly for. This story is I'm like intimately familiar with what happens in Final Fantasy VII, and I like that they're shaking the plot up. I think it's cool. I love what they did with pretty much all the characters, actually. Like I said, the voice work's great. The writing's good. I love Yuffie's whole thing. Like, I love the music and all of it. It's just real good. Matt, how about you?
I'm squarely against Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think it's bad. And I appreciate the fact that you all enjoy the changes, but I know it's fun to paint me as a gatekeeper, but I think it's a weaker story. I think this is a much weaker story overall. It's just a bunch of nonsense that excuses the fact that they're going to change the outcomes, but it's still going to be the same plot because they're not going to deviate that much. We're not going to get a whole new story here. We're going to get the same beats, but with minor changes. I think the whole Whisper thing is boring and unnecessary and just bad. And I don't like it. I like a lot of things about the game. I think that it's got good gameplay for the most part when it's not dragging me back to, whatever corridor it wants me to go down. It's got a lot of problems. The game is very on rails, and I don't know. I mean, as a modern remake, certainly as a modern game, it's a fun game to play for the most part, and it looks good, and the combat's fun, and I still like the characters. I think it's got a lot of pluses, but overall, I think that it kind of sucks. Squarely against. John.
So I agree with you on a lot, like that it's got such high highs and low lows, but I think I overall liked the direction of the story much more than you did, which is why I liked it better than you. But I totally agree with you about like the dungeons, the boring fetch quests, the kind of crappy dungeon design. But I think
terrible dungeon design.
Yeah, the combat's great. I think the combat's great. I think a lot of the cutscenes are really fun. I like the writing for the characters. I like overall the weird story. Some of the new stuff they added was fine. I don't want them to only do the characters from the original game, so I don't mind them adding Leslie and Sonon. I get a little annoyed that Nomura's new characters are just a guy. One's a guy with a staff, one's a guy with a hat. They need if they're
gonna kind of look like Sephiroth, right? Like they're desperately trying to recreate that magic, that lightning in a bottle that you can't do by sticking a fucking hat on Sephiroth or giving him a staff.
Well,
I think
that guy doesn't look
Nomura
like
has
Sephiroth.
like 10 things. Only 10 things available to him to use, and he can only every time there's a new character, it's a different combination of the same things. This guy's got silver hair and a hat, and maybe he's got a couple belts. Maybe his shoes are
maybe
really big.
Maybe he's a human trafficker. Maybe you're supposed to identify with this human trafficker.
There's 2 different new characters, each of which have a sepia-toned fridging cutscene, which I thought was very funny. But overall, I like that I'm not just retreading the original games, and I'm really excited. That new trailer got me really excited. So I want to see the things I like about the Kingdom Hearts games are the crazy stuff, and I want to see the Kingdom Hearts style crazy stuff of what's going to happen next, because I still got my original. I still got my Final Fantasy VII.
Me too.
It's fine. But yeah, overall roundly 4, but squarely against the dungeon design and the open world sections. Vanessa.
Yeah.
Are you roundly 4 or squarely against this game?
I'm roundly for it. I liked it. I liked
Yay!
playing it more than I liked playing the original Final Fantasy VII, which I famously did not like playing very much because I was snobby about Final Fantasy VI. I thought it was pretty fun. I did have some moments where I felt that the level design could have been a little bit better. I understand that these are beloved characters, so they want to give us a lot of time with them, but I didn't need quite as much time with them as they provided. But I guess that's complaining about too much cake. I enjoyed the side quests. I really liked when Cloud was able to not just be a total grump in the mud, stick in the mud, dumb cool guy, but I did not like it when he was on his motorcycle. Overall, I would say that I enjoyed playing this game. However, I'm ready to move on to the next one.
Yay!
Any emails this week?
Yeah. Last time on Square Roots, I might have invited people to send in fan art of me making out with Reeve Tusti, which I quickly took back. However, not fast enough, because we did receive a piece of fan art of me making out with Reeve Tusti. This is sort of the pixel version of me that was created by, what was that artist's name, Jim?
Lady Matthew went on some dates.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. What was that artist's name, Matt?
Oh, Mimi.
Mimi. Yeah, Mimi made this banner of all of us as pixel characters. So it's me from that. And then original bowling pin arm, Reeve Tusti. We're standing next to each other. And I am saying I'm Vanessa. And I'm making out with Reeve Tusti. It's great. I love it. Thank you very much.
I don't know if you noticed it, but they plumped up your lips.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I did notice that.
It's very funny.
I guess I must be puckering up to get ready for my
10
makeout
out of
session.
10 fan art. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for sending it in. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Patreon. Jim, that's your job.
Aw. All right.
Jim, you should expect it every time. That's your job.
I'm going to put your name on it next time. All right.
I won't do it.
We have a Patreon. You can sign up for it at patreon.com/squarerootspodcast. We have tons of sweet content on there. We just recorded a pretty long hot gaming news special report that we put out this month, where we talked about the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer and Fable, the Fable
Super
trailer,
Mario RPG
Super Mario
remake,
RPG remakes, Dragon's Dogma 2,
Super Mario Wonder, and all the elephant porn that we
elephant porn.
discussed. Yeah.
That's on there. At the $3 level, you get access to all that content. At the $5 level, you get access to that content and the ability to vote for the games we play on the show. As we mentioned earlier, next game is Lunar Silver. Is it Silver Star Story? Silver Story? Silver Star? What is it?
I think
Lunar
it's all
Silver
of them.
Star Story.
Lunar Silver Star Story. That is the game we are playing. Our listeners
There's a lot
voted.
of confusion about it because there are multiple remakes. I think the PS1 version that you two are playing and the iOS version that Vanessa and I are playing are basically the same remake. If you want to play the Game Boy Advance version, that is slightly different.
But I think the iOS version's like isometric, while the it's not.
It's still just the same.
Still just 2D.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's very nice looking, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so like I said, you can sign up for that at patreon.com/squarerootspodcast. Another benefit to being a patron is we like to personally thank some of them on the show.
I'll start us off. I'd like to thank David Arnold, Choco, Mako, Taco, Northern Loon, Mostly Rational Person, Gage, Lasharite, Matt, Insert Clever Name Here, Jorgensen, Jerry Schleffler, and David Shook. That's right, Jim. I beat you to the punch.
Congratulations. I'd like to thank Magpie Juju, John P. Quaker Oatman, Samu Mitchell, Citrus C, Nick Moriarty, Gigantified Micro Space Hamster, Aaron Garb, and Michael Tully Klein Jr.
It's Eric Garby.
Garby.
Eric, not Aaron.
I'd like to thank Brian Pitt, Amanda Douglas, Rachel, Justin Ham, Anthony Lima, Trey, Robert T., Sean Walsh, Zachary Bullitt, and Harbison, Jake Dickerson, Megan Sullivan, Maybe Flush Guys, Katie Tolman, Ian S., and Jeremy I Am.
What are you going to do, John?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Thank you guys for playing through this game with me.
Oh,
Oh, that's nice.
For the second fucking time.
Not Vanessa. It's her first time.
It was my first time.
All right, everyone. That's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email to have read on the air, we're at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group, for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or find us on Twitter at Square Roots Pod.
Don't forget to rate, review, and where's my thingy? Oh, there it is. Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on Twitter as Beige on Beige and on YouTube. Links in the show notes.
All right, for Square Roots Podcast, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
That was a beautiful song. Oh my God. I loved that. And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
Laters.